Good question, Alhamdulillah. Unfortunately, for the short time, I wouldn't want to have people to try to fix their walking because that actually make the issue even worse. So in motor learning and control, when you learn how to do something, it takes about 300 to 500 reps to build what's called a motor program. You know how many it takes to fix it? About 3 to 5,000. SubhanAllah. So that's why bad habits are very difficult to break because the body doesn't want to change it unless it has to. That's good for protection purposes because you don't want to just be changing programs just because it's Wednesday, for example. So your body wants to say, hey, are you sure you want to change to this walking gait? Because this is what we've been doing, even if it wasn't pretty. So for right now, I probably wouldn't try to mess with that now because that may cause more issues. But technically, you do want to use your glutes, your butt muscle when you walk. So when you walk, you want to kind of push off with your glutes a little bit more and squeeze your butt when you walk. A lot of people walk heel toe, so the heel hit the floor first instead of midfoot. So you do want to walk midfoot first, and then have like a little bit of a propulsion phase where you push off and stabilize your glute. But again, that's not something you're going to fix very quickly. It could take, depending on how long you've had the movement issue. If you have a movement issue, it could take quite a bit of time to fix that. It's like kind of reinventing the wheel again for your body. So real quick, just focus on landing midfoot. So when your foot hits the ground, Michelle, hit this cord here. When your foot hits the ground, don't let the heel hit the floor first. You want the middle of the foot hitting the floor first, and then push off with your glutes. Just an easy way to do it. Just think about squeezing your butt every time you walk. It'll be a little uncomfortable, but eventually, after a couple of months of doing that, it'll become like an automatic thing in your brain. You won't even think about it. And then you have like a new program, inshallah. Okay, if there's no other question. We'll pass it on to Sheikh Hamzah, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Caleb, for the advice. And mashallah, many of our community members are working with him. He's helped a lot of people through getting back in shape, getting physical. So do reach out to him, inshallah, if you have any questions or any advice. Our next speaker is Dr. Salma Hilali, someone very near and dear to all of us in the community. And mashallah, she helped us last year with the seminar as well. And mashallah, she's very, very generous with her time. And I know she'll say to herself as well that she's willing to help anyone, especially if you don't have medical insurance. She's happy to help. If there's any other way that she can guide you even afterwards, she's more than happy to help. So we really appreciate her coming out and sharing all of her knowledge and guidance with the community. Inshallah, without further ado, Dr. Salma.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, Mubarak to all of you. To all of you, having been chosen by Allah Ta'ala for the most beautiful experience that He has given us in this dunya. Sheikh Hamzah, I always get emotional talking about this because truly my husband and I, alhamdulillah, were blessed to do Hajj the year before COVID started, and it has been the most life-changing experience for both of us, alhamdulillah. So I make dua that is the same for each and every one of you, and that Allah accepts everyone's Hajj, and please make dua for all of us in the Ummah, in the St. Louis Ummah, and the Ummah around the world, inshallah. I know Sheikh Hamzah, we have the slides from before. I am adding a few things, and so I will type it up, email it to Sheikh Hamzah and Mufti Asif so that they can add it onto the slides. Just trying to become a little bit more organized. Some things also in the last few years, talking to other Hajis that, I think that can be beneficial to people. First of all, of course, everybody knows you have to get your required vaccinations, and you have your list that you have from the Ministry of Health. Some things that have come up, is particularly in the US in the last few years with adults, so I am going to recommend this. Unfortunately, now a lot of children are no longer being immunized. So as a result of that, we are seeing adults also, things such as measles, mumps, rubella that were never a problem before, polio, tetanus, pertussis. We had not seen these viruses in years. And now, subhanAllah, because children are bringing it back, consequently, adults are also getting it. So we are now really, especially any adult over 40, in the clinic, we recommend to get a booster on the MMR, to definitely tetanus pertussis. If you have not had one in 10 years, would recommend that you get that as well. Polio, we haven't seen as much of, but we have seen some adult cases of polio. in the country. And then the other thing is any adult over 50, we are more prone to get shingles. So if you have not had your shingles vaccine, stress can bring on shingles, and definitely walking in the heat, all the exercise that you're doing on Hajj brings stress on the body. So that's also, it's optional, but it is something I would recommend, is getting the shingles vaccine before you go as well, inshallah. Brother Caleb, I mean, subhanAllah, everything he said is truly, truly important. And it just correlates, goes into the hydration, the foot care, all of that we need for Hajj. It's very, very, very important. Everything that he said. The year that we did it was right when it started in August. So it started in the real hot summer months at that point, and has gotten into the hotter months more every year now. So, subhanAllah, the foot care, the hydration, all of that is so important. So number one problem, dehydration. So how do you put, what are some of the signs if you're there that you feel like you're getting dehydrated? If your urine starts becoming dark, you start getting dizzy, persistent headaches, fatigue, dry mouth. So how do you prevent that? Drinking at least 3 to 4 liters of fluid a day. And with the fluids, we do recommend, you can get the packets that have the the IV packets, and there's different types, different flavors. Try them before you go to see which one you like, and take those packets with you. And before you go out for the day, add it into your bottles, your water bottles, so that you can keep it with you throughout the day. So important to do that. Avoid caffeinated drinks. I know that's hard because you're not sleeping much during Hajj, but mashallah, you just find the energy. Allah gives you the energy. So, but the caffeinated drinks in the heat does cause more dehydration. So really, really try to avoid that. And don't wait till you're thirsty, okay? Just keep hydrating throughout the day, inshallah, okay? Shoes. I mean, everything Brother Caleb said about the feet is you are doing so much walking. So before you go, try, find which shoes you're going to wear, break them in, walk around in them, so that that they're comfortable. Don't get new shoes and wear them when you're there, because then you're going to get calluses and all that, especially diabetics. Please get diabetic shoes, okay? Because the diabetic shoes do have more cushioning. They will help prevent the sores. That's something you don't want to have happen there, is to get any diabetic sores, especially in the heat, because they can definitely become infected much more easily. And then, if you are somebody who is prone to get blisters and calluses easily, you can find the padding, the blister packets, all of those. Find which areas of your feet are more prone to that. Start wearing them now to help prevent that, okay? For anybody who has prescription medications, you need to definitely set them out in a pill box now, okay? If you have any types of controlled substances that you regularly use, that you definitely want to make sure that your physician gives you a prescription for that, because sometimes at TSA or wherever they sometimes, if they find when they're checking your medications, if it is a controlled substance, they can ask for the prescription. Okay. Also, things for medications. If you take something such as Lasix, a water pill, right? So if you take that, you end up going to the bathroom more. If at home, if you're taking it in the evening, try and do it where you're going to take it in the morning now, so that you're not, because really the only time, one of the times you usually get sleep during Hajj is between Isha and Hajj, right? So if you have to get up all night to go to the bathroom, then, you're not even getting that sleep. So if there are some medications you need to change around, do that. For diabetics, definitely make sure you have ice packs or whatever you need to take your insulin with you. There that in your hotel room, you have a refrigerator that you can keep your insulin and such. Also for diabetics, make sure with this, you're going to have more of a tendency to have low blood sugars. So make sure you take glucose packets or candy, whatever it is. Make sure you take your glucometer with you, because you will, and even when you're walking, make sure you keep some protein snacks with you, okay? So that I would say every hour, every 2 hours, make sure you have a protein snack so that your blood sugar does not drop, okay? Anybody who has swelling in their legs, make sure, I would definitely recommend If you don't have compression socks, find some compression socks that are comfortable for you to reduce the swelling, or else with the heat and the walking, the swelling will get worse, okay? And then that becomes very, very painful. So you definitely want to do that. Of course, you know, a few other things as far as muscle discomfort. So we're going to talk some of the medications that I've recommended before. Make sure you have Tylenol, ibuprofen for fever or pain, for diarrhea. These are things you should really pack, okay? Imodium for diarrhea. However, to prevent any type of, if you have food poisoning or you get C. diff, anything like that, keeping Cipro and Flagyl on hand is always a good thing, okay, on these types of, on Hajj, when you go overseas like that, because if you have really profuse diarrhea, taking that can help. You can ask your physician for it. If you don't have a physician, I will give you my phone number, 314-973-8319. I'll repeat it, and I think it's on the slides too. Text me, and for whatever, and we will find a way to get it for you, inshallah. For coughs, Mucinex DM, cough drops. I mean, you're going to hear everybody coughing during Hajj. If you have asthma, make sure you take your inhalers. Even if you don't have asthma, but if you have a tendency towards reactive airway disease, you have allergies, I would recommend at least taking an albuterol inhaler with you. That also helps with keeping your lung airways open if you start getting that. Allergic reactions, take Benadryl with you. I talked about the albuterol. Keeping some type of superficial antibiotic cream is also good. Skin reactions, hydrocortisone cream, Benadryl cream. Also just to help, because you're going to get a lot of friction when you're walking. So you can try to prevent skin reactions, especially inner thighs, by applying like Vaseline, so that you don't get some of that friction. For allergies, Claritin, Zyrtec, Sizal, Flonase, those are some of the just over-the-counter. For dizziness, there is an over-the-counter medication called Dramamine. Some people do have more of a tendency to get vertigo. So Dramamine is over-the-counter that you can take for muscle pain. Find a topical. If you're like me and you get muscle pain a lot, find which type of topical. Icy hot, Bengay, aspirin. There's lidocaine creams, lidocaine patches. Find what works for you here, so that if you already are somebody who gets muscle pains and joint pains, so that you're not going there and then something's not working. Okay. Antibiotics. I do also for respiratory infections. Always good to either take a Z-Pack with you or amoxicillin or whatever antibiotic usually work well for you. Good thing to have on hand. I mean, that's just one of the most common things you're going to see when you, mashallah, have millions of people around you. But using good hand sanitizing is one of the best things you can do for prevention. We talked about the Cipro and the Flagyl for diarrhea. Women, if there's any women here who are still premenopausal or perimenopausal that have not stopped their period, there is a progesterone pill that can be taken. I usually recommend starting it about a month before, and then continuing it through Hajj, and then stopping it after you get back. Please feel free to contact me. If you have a GYN, you can ask them. Most GYNs are good about sending that for the patients, but yeah, you're more than welcome to text me, and if you need a prescription for that. Any questions? 314-973-8319.
Prescription while you're there, just in case.
Yeah.
Can you get it from the pharmacy, or do you have to?
There's a lot of medications that you can just walk into the pharmacy and get. Cipro, Flagyl, things like that are pretty commonly, amoxicillin are very commonly available, and you don't even need a script there. You just walk in and get it there. Yeah, that's the Z-Pack or amoxicillin. If you're prone to getting respiratory infections, then if you take it from here, it's on hand. Plus, when you are not in Makkah, right? So when you're not in Makkah, if you need it, then you've got 3 or 4 days where you may not have a pharmacy available. to get it. So it's, good to have on hand at that time.
Are you saying that like amoxicillin or Z-Pack, those are available in Medina?
They are.
In just pharmacies, and you can just walk in and get them?
You can either get it from here or you can, get it, yes, you can get it from there as well.
But one other question, so like Bengay and stuff has programs, it said smell, scent.
So
Or
you can
male,
get unscented ones too.
or they have.
Yeah, asparcrine, lidocaine, there are unscented ones that you can get. So there are unscented ones. Those are over the country. Yes. Any other questions? I know there are many doctors in the group here too, so if you have anything to chime in, please feel free to chime in. But, please make sure if you are on medications, you have that organized. That's so important for you to make, you don't want to go there and your regular medications, you don't have those available for you. Okay. Okay. Jazakallah, may Allah accept everybody's Hajj, inshallah. And, we're so blessed to have Sheikh Hamzah and Mufti Asif to help guide us after Hajj. And I think that's the most, that's a crucial part is what we do after we come back. And we are so, for my family, mashallah, they have been a huge guidance.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Salma, for sharing all of that with us and for coming here and spending the time with us today. Barakallahu feekum. Inshallah, just to add one comment about the medication. So typically the hotels that we Westerners stay in, they're usually built in or around a plaza. And all you have to do is ask. There's always a pharmacy in the same hotel building or the building next to it. For example, Nahdi, a very famous pharmacy, or others, you'll just have to ask. So it's pretty accessible. And usually there's a pharmacist on hand who can give you some quick, advice too if you need there, if you're not able to reach anyone. So inshallah, we'll begin. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. The format of what we're going to discuss, inshallah, we're going to have two sessions, one from now till Dhuhr, so we have about 55 minutes, and then after Dhuhr will be the final session. What will we discuss? Some introductory points, travel preparation, health preparation is done. We had Brother Caleb and we had Dr. Salma discuss that already. Spiritual preparation, Umrah guide, the 5 days of Hajj, visiting Medina, and then Q&A. All right. Now, the Umrah guide, especially, which I'm going to cover, is very, very important because if you understand the Umrah really well, you already understand a lot of the Hajj. But what's different in the Hajj usually is that the format is a little bit different, meaning the tawaf is going to be done in the same way. So you have to understand the tawaf. The sa'i is going to be done in the same way. So you have to understand that. The ihram, the rulings of ihram, the prohibitions of ihram are the same. It's just how long do you have to wear the ihram, right? How many times, how many tawafs are you going to do? What is the day difference, as in what happens on day 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4 versus 5? That is what changes. So we want to pay attention to all of that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, firstly, I think if we just did a pop quiz right now on what Brother Caleb and Dr. Salma covered, I think maybe we'll remember half or less than half. But that's okay, right? That's okay, because it's very, very normal to forget something after you hear it for the first time. So please do not think that if you came today, you're going to understand everything. And if you forget it, you're going to say, what's the point? And we know this because, mashallah, a lot of you, or almost everyone here, is in the older crowd, and everyone almost has children. No one has children here? Okay, that makes sense. Right? So you've seen your child through school, and you see it's the same thing they learn year in and year out, except it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more additions. And repetition is key. Repetition is key. So we do have the live stream for this, and we're going to create a Hajj support group. Inshallah, myself, Mufti Asif, will be there to answer your questions. We'll throw the link in there. Maybe a day or two later, rewatch this. Okay. If you're in your Hajj group, there's other resources available. Take them. Take them, because as you go through the information multiple times in different settings, not the same day. You took one today, Maybe let's say next weekend you sit down, you watch it again. The following weekend, you crack open a book. You start talking about it if you're going with your wife or going with your husband, for example. So that repetition will help you do it. So number two, theory and practice are two very different things. All right. You can discuss as much as you want over here. And when you get there, you're like a lost duck, right? You're like, wait a second. How do I start tawaf? I completely forgot. And don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because very famously, Mullah Ali al-Qari rahimahullah, who's one of the great scholars of our tradition, he actually wrote some of the most significant works on manasik, on the Hajj rites. The first time he went for Hajj, he forgot where to start off. I mean, it's very natural because when you're talking about it on a PowerPoint or on a video or on a book, it's very different. Being there in person is very different. So, let yourself or make yourself aware of that. Thirdly is the easy thing that I recommend people in your Hajj group is, okay, you've done your prep, you know what it is. Now, when you're at Hajj or Umrah, make it a goal to review with your partner, with your group, with whoever's with you, every night, what's coming up in the next day. So you refresh every night. Now, sometimes no one will be there to do that, depending on your group. That's okay. You take the lead. Grab a book, sit down and let's figure this out. Tomorrow is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. What are we supposed to do on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah? Let's look back in the slides. Let's try to remind ourselves, right? So that we have a mental prep. Okay, a few things that are different about Hajj than all other forms of ibadah. Zakah, Siyam, Taraweeh, I'tikaf, fasting, Eid, all of the ibadah that we do, Hajj is completely different. It is completely different. And that's why we have to understand first and foremost, because a lot of people are confused. They say, I'm not feeling khushu' in my Hajj. I'm not feeling that sense of calm or that sense of focus. The khushu' in Hajj is different from the khushu' in your salah. Salah is supposed to be yourself. You're supposed to be still, right? Even excessive movement, it's disliked, and it can possibly break your salah, right? Like a person starts walking, it'll invalidate your salah. And in salah, you're quiet. You're not supposed to look here and there, right? Hajj is completely different. The khushu' of Hajj is in the physical exertion. That is the khushu' of Hajj. So we just don't think of it that way, but we have to start thinking about it that way so that we know that when I am having to wait long periods of time, when it's hot, when I'm exhausted, that is the ibadah. Why? That's number two. When Allah has given us money, He gave us time, He gave us health in our bodies, right? All of those things, Allah wants us to give a part of that for Him. So zakah is what? Zakah is, there's no like dua of zakah. You literally, now you just click the button. You don't even take out the money. Boom. Go to the website. You have your zakat calculated. Pay my zakat. So where was the ibadah? The ibadah was in you giving your money. That's the ibadah. Salah is no like $5 registration fee for lower salah, right? It's free. But there's a different sacrifice. It's your time. Can you make time from your work day, from your weekend? You're tired for Fajr. You need to give your time for Allah. Fasting, no money, and no time really either. A person theoretically could sleep all day. Theoretically, their fast would go on as long as they had the intention to fast. But fasting it requires your body giving up food. Hajj, very famously, is all of that. It's all of that combined. Hajj requires money. And this is a big false trope. For those of you that are not going for Hajj but are planning, some people are like, no, don't go for Hajj, it's too expensive. Hajj was never cheap. Because see, people in the early times, they didn't leave for Hajj 3 days before, 5 days before. They left 2 months before. right? If any of you, especially those of you that are older, if you asked your parents or your grandparents, I mean, they left usually after Ramadan sometimes because all of Dhul Qa'dah, all of Shawwal, excuse me, all of Dhul Qa'dah, they were traveling either by ship, either by sea, by animal, by different means that they had at the time. So Hajj always required money. That means for 2 months you can't work, and you need to leave money back for your family. And then you're there, and then on the way back. So 3, 4, 5 month journey for Hajj. Obviously, that's like half a year of your income is gone. So it always required money. Hajj requires money. It requires time. It requires our mental perseverance and our physical exertion. All of zakah, sawm, and salah, all of those methods that are used there are used here. Number 3, Hajj is very, very different from your vacation. It does not matter what hotel you're in. If you're in Dar al-Taqwa, you're in the right in front on there. Trust me, I've stayed there. If your mindset is the same, you will complain there as well. It does not matter what hotel you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in the clock tower. Every Westerner is in the clock tower. You need to expect to face long lines. There are delays. There are logistical issues. You get blocked. You can't find a taxi. You miss your bus. You have to expect that things can go wrong. You will never be ever in your life probably in an area with that many people. Right? Now there's always causes. You could say, oh my God, this is the hotel manager is horrible. They gave me the wrong room, or, our bus guy, whatever the reason is, right? And take it up there, bring it up to the relevant people. Of course, make a complaint if you have to, but just know that this is something that's going to come. And this is really going to test your patience, right? If you think before iftar time, 1 hour before iftar, and everyone's groggy and, it's like someone says something and it really touches your nerves. Hajj is like that every day because you're hungry, you haven't slept well, you're traveling, maybe you lost your bags, and you can get annoyed very, very fast. Do not let that ruin your Hajj. Please, don't let that ruin your Hajj. And part of learning from Hajj is that learning to be patient. When it comes to complaining, some people, now they're going to be like, well, I have to complain. Complain to the relevant people. If you turn around to your fellow Hajj guy, oh my God, man, these guys are so horrible. These guys are so horrible. It's not going to solve anything. Complain. But complain to the person who can do something about it. Go to your group leader, go to the hotel manager, go to the person who's assigned from Nusuk or from whatever your group is. Go speak to them about your concern. Bring it up in a respectful manner, and you have the right to do that. Number 4, there are areas of differences of opinion in Hajj, just like other acts. I'll mention some of them. If you see someone doing something differently, make sure you first ask, is there a difference of opinion on this issue? Before you're quick to say, hey, that's wrong. You can't do it like that. There could be valid differences of opinion. And also, not everything everyone is doing is a valid difference of opinion either. So sometimes you see people doing the wildest things, right? These are people from every continent, literally from every country where Muslims are. You have people coming there. Most people don't have the opportunity to have seminars and learn and things like that, so they may be ignorant. You can excuse them and see if you are able to correct them gently there, inshallah. This is from a good one that I found. Qalam Institute has a good hacking list. Okay, so we'll share this out in the group as well. This is one thing that you want to look through. I'll put the link in the group, inshallah, that we'll have sent out. But basically, documents, right? You want to have your passport, visa, a copy of those things in your bag. Many times, Allah forbid, your passport gets lost, something gets lost, you have a copy of that. Clothing and shoes, main thing is ihram. Check with your group, most likely you'll get it there, especially if you're in Medina first. Pack your clothing accordingly, all right? Now, important practical tip, do not pack like you typically pack for a vacation. And here's why. When you go for a vacation, it's very simple. You get out from the airport, you get a rental, or you get an Uber, or whatever it is. You get in your car, you go to the hotel. Your bag goes from the car to the hotel. And then it does not go with you anywhere for the whole vacation. It stays in your hotel. And on the last day, you pack it, Uber's waiting, throw it into the car in the airport. I does not like that. Depending on if you have shifting or non-shifting packages, you have to move and you have to, for example, when you go to Mina, you'll be gone for 2 or 2.5 days. So do you have a hotel room still? Do you lose it? Discuss that with your group, check it out. Even if you have it, how am I going to take things through my action, through the days of Mina, through Arafah and all of that? So you want to pack light, pack your important things, but pack light. Pack lighter than you normally do. That's the main thing. Clothing, obviously appropriate clothing that fulfills our modesty guidelines, but also look into cotton clothing, lightweight clothing, clothing that is comfortable that you can deal with in your heat. Food and snacks, Brother Caleb, Dr. Salman, they talked about importance of electrolytes. You can get in tablets, powder, drops, some energy bars. Even if you're not diabetic or anything, just having a small snack can help. Okay, you haven't had any food and you're all of a sudden, my God, I'm so grumpy and I'm so low on energy. Maybe having some nuts, an energy bar, whatever it is that you like. Try not to have something chocolate because it's going to melt. So you have like a big chocolate bar, you open up and you got chocolate pudding in your bag. So try to look for something that think what can last in the heat. Try to keep that as a little booster, inshallah. Heat management, personally, I think these are like a waste, but our sisters will disagree. Sisters are, mashallah, very good. They have electric mini fans, they have cooling towels, they have hats. They're very good about this. So, mashallah, tabarakallah. If you can do it, get your fan, get your cooling towel, get your hat. Definitely that hats especially definitely do help a lot. These are some general things. Plastic bags. Sometimes you have like dirty clothes and things. You don't know how to toss them, but you can get probably bags around there. Towels, they should be there in hotels, but when you're there in your Hajj days in Mina, that might help. Shoe bag, a pouch or a belt bag for brothers. This is very, very important. When you're in your ihram, you have no pockets. So phone, wallet, or cash or card. Order a belt now and factor in your belly size. Make sure it's working for you. Okay, otherwise you get there, you're gonna be confused. Earplugs, if you're that type of person, can't sleep because brothers and sisters in Mina, just as how these chairs are, that's how beds are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the brothers right now, you don't know if the brother next to you snores. You're gonna find out there. So earplugs can help. Sunglasses, definitely recommend. Neck pillow if you enjoy that. Small duffel bag or backpack, especially those 2 or 3 days when you're out from your hotel and you're the beginning of manasik. Having one backpack and learning how you're going to downsize to that will make your life really easy. It'll be a boost because guess what? We're going to Mina, then we're going to Arafah, Muzdalifah. Khalas, I got my backpack, I'm ready to go. That can really help, all right? Electronics, make sure you have an international power adapter. Hotels are very bad about this in Saudi till now. You need an international power adapter that can help. Extension cord, that can help in the tents, but you know, usually someone has it or they have it provided now, so it should be fine. Personal hygiene, unscented is the main part about it. And then these are some medications, some spiritual advice, such as a mushaf, a notebook and pens, things of that sort. This will be linked, inshallah, there, and you can go through it in detail in the group, but just wanted to give an overview of it, inshallah. Okay. Spiritual preparation. All right, we're going to go a little bit fast. These are 5 things you want to do spiritually to prepare for Hajj from now. Number 1, repent from all sins. A lot of people think I'm going to Hajj to get my sins forgiven. Start it now, please. If you're not in the attitude of it now, if you cannot put yourself down in front of Allah and say, Allah, I am sinful. I have made many mistakes. I've disobeyed you so much. And getting in that habit now and weaning yourself off from sins now, that will make your Hajj more fruitful. right? Number two, resolve outstanding differences, petty fights, you know, with friends, family members, things that can easily be resolved, things that are holding you down. Ask forgiveness and forgive others for the sake of Allah. Clean all of that out. You know, traditionally people, because the journey was so long, they didn't know if they'd make it back. So they really think like, if you're going for Hajj, I don't know if I'm going to see you again. So they really would give importance to this. It's a little bit different now because you go for Hajj and it's like, I'm back in, let's do June 12th, our Hajj party. You know, you can already see your way back. So don't let that stop you from taking care of these things. 3, pay off all debts or have a payment method fixed. 4, make sure your wealth from Hajj is from halal sources. 5, very important, learn the art of dua. Like we heard about the advice for walking, give just 5 minutes a day for dua. Wallahi, I'm telling you this, on the day of Arafah, mark my words right now if you're going for Hajj, you get there in the morning and you're supposed to make dua for Maghrib. You want to know what happens after 30 minutes? Everyone's like looking at each other. What do we do now? Or they're bored, they're on their phones. Because we're not, how do you make dua from 10 a.m. till Maghrib? And you should ideally rest. We'll cover that in the parts that are there. Ideally get to Arafah and rest. But from Dhuhr, the Prophet did Qiyam. From Dhuhr till Maghrib. Obviously, you take a bathroom break, take some food break. But Dhuhr till Maghrib, how am I going to make dua? So start to learn how to make dua. Once you do, I guarantee you like an hour is less. You're like, there's more things I need to make dua for. So everything starts with a habit. 5 minutes after you pray your Isha, sit for 5 minutes, put a timer on for 5 minutes, make dua. It'll be hard the first day, 60 seconds in, you're going to blink. Oh my God, what do I do? But slowly and surely, you will learn. Also, dua books are good in general to familiarize yourself. Like, what did the Prophet ﷺ ask Allah for? And you'll find, oh, the Prophet made dua. He said, Allah, I ask you for khair in everything. I ask you for the protection of evil and everything. When it was the night, think about the evil in the night, and the Prophet would ask protection from that. He'd make dua for his children. He'd make dua for the ummah. He'd make dua for his health, right? He'd make dua for those that had passed away. He'd make dua for those that had given for the sake of Allah. So you start to realize there's a lot of things in my dua I haven't thought of. You can learn that from now. Okay, this is perhaps the most important thing, is learning Hajj terminology. We will be hearing, and you all will be hearing these constantly every day. So it's very important that you know the terminology. If you don't know it, you'll be confused on what's being said. So try to, inshallah, be familiar with this. Firstly is ihram. Ihram refers to the 2 white pieces of cloth as well. But primarily, ihram is not just the clothes, it is the state. The state. And ahrama or harrama means for something to make haram. Now, who's going to tell us? How does that translate to ihram? If ihram means to make something haram, excellent. Things that are normally halal become haram. We also say for the first takbir of salah, knows what it's called, the first takbir. التكبير للتحريم or التكبيرة تكبيرة الإحرام. Same word is used for the first takbir. Why? Why do we use it for salah? What does it tell us? Why is it called takbirat al-ihram? The takbira al-ihram. It's fard, but we said it means to make haram. Excellent. When you say Allahu Akbar, certain things became haram. Eating, moving, talking, walking. These things became haram. So we say this Allahu Akbar. And then the salam is what? Tahleel. The salam makes it halal. Once you say Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, now you can talk, you can eat everything. Ihram is the same thing. So the state that we're going to enter in, that is called ihram Miqat. Miqat is the boundary, the physical boundary around the actual haram, around the actual sacred area. When you enter that boundary, before you enter that boundary is when you enter into the state of ihram. All right. So, for example, from Medina, as we'll come to, it's Dhul Hulayfa. That point and anything, that point is called Miqat, and then the area inside it is called Fidya. Fidya is the penalty paid for when you violate a lesser condition of ihram. So, common question: I use scented soap, all right, or I engage with intimacy with my spouse. What do I do now? So those are all. There's a discussion of the violations of ihram. We'll cover that at the very, very end. One of those, fidya, is a penalty that's paid. Fard. Fard is a critical element of Hajj. If you miss a fard, your Hajj is gone. So when you're there, or anytime you hear like this act is fard al-Hajj, there's no way to make up for it. You have to do it. And if you miss it, like for example, Arafah. Being in Arafah for a moment is fard. That's why even people that are at Hajj and sick, the Saudis, they do a good job of bringing ambulances into Arafat, the actual plane, so that for a moment they can catch Arafah. Because these people, some of them, they've spent their lives gathering this money. Who knows if they'll be able to come again? And if they're not in Arafah, khalas, no Hajj. So they bring them there in the ambulance just so that they can fulfill the fard part of being in Arafah. So fard, pay attention to that word. Rukn is a synonym for fard. So rukn and fard, same thing. This is a rukn of Hajj. This is a fard of Hajj, same thing. Mandatory. Wajib, now if we have fard, you come one level down, you have wajib. Wajib is a major element of Hajj. You have to do it. But if you miss it, there is a way to pay a penalty to make up for it. So something happens, Allah forbid, emergency, or you forgot, or just you messed up, then there is a way out from it. Okay, before we move on, just so we're not all falling asleep, I want everyone to go over this can everyone stand up first? Go refresh. And go over it with your partner. These 5 or 6 terminologies. Whoever's next to you, just say something up. All right, so we're going to carry on, inshallah. 2 more slides on terminology. Hadi and dam. Hadi and dam, for a lot of us that are Desi from the subcontinent, you'll just hear the word qurbani used. But there are the hadi and the dam are two different reasons. Hadi is the actual qurbani, or the sacrifice that's made by the person doing Hajj. In some forms of it, in the most common form of Hajj, we do it, the tamattu'. That is its own act. Dam is the same thing. You're slaughtering an animal, but it's done. Why? When you have violated a wajib element. So the kafara, the makeup for it is the slaughtering of an animal, similar to the hadi. So hadi is done in general by all of the hujjaj that are doing the hajj of tamattu. Dam is an additional sacrifice if you violated one of the wajibs. And you can contact your hajj group. They have a system where you'd make the payment, and then that's taken care of. Tawaf. Tawaf is circumambulation or going around the Kaaba, a total of 7 times, makes for 1 tawaf. Qudum, Ifada, Wada'. These are the 3 terms used for 3 different tawafs. Okay, Qudum being the first tawaf of Hajj upon entering Mecca, Ifada being the fard tawaf of Hajj, Wada' being the farewell tawaf of Hajj. If you're confused about this is all going to come again in detail. This is just so you have the terminology in mind. Sa'i means to go back and forth between Safa and Marwa. The Jamra, or plural Jamarat, are the 3 boundaries marked by walls in which you are going to stone the place where the shaitan came to Ibrahim alayhi salam. That place is called Jamra for 1, Jamarat because there are 3. Aqaba, also called Jamrat al-Aqaba, is the name of the Jamra which is closest to Mecca of the 3. Why? That'll come in detail. You'll see there's a bit of a different ruling for this particular Jamra. Tarwiyah is Yawm al-Tarwiyah. That is the name of the first day of Hajj, which is the 8th day of Hajj. The 8th day of Hajj is called Tarwiyah. The day of Arafah is the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. Okay. Nahr is the day of sacrifice, and that's the name of the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah. So Yawm al-Tarwiyah, the 8th, Yawm Arafah, the 9th, Yawm al-Nahr is the 10th. That is when those who are staying back will do their Eid, and the Hujjaj do not do their Eid, rather they finish up their acts. And then there are 3 days of Mina, day 1, day 2, day 3. These are called Ayyamu Mina, the days of Mina, because that is the primary act of what you do. This is the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th of Dhul Hijjah. 2 terminologies left, Halq and Qasr. Halq means to shave the head. When you're going to leave the ihram, you're going for brothers, you're going to shave the head. That's called Halq. Qasr means you are shortening it as opposed to shaving it down. All right. Okay. Any questions so far about what we covered? And then we'll start with Umrah.
We have to do it here too.
So there's difference of opinion between the scholars of is the Qurbani of Eid separate from the Hadi or not? All right. And the short answer is you have 2 opinions there. One opinion says yes, the sacrifice there suffices for it. The second opinion says no, they are 2 different acts. All right. However, for the majority of people, you're a traveler anyways. And so one of the conditions for the Eid Qurbani being mandatory is that you're not a traveler. So by that, the wujub falls, the obligation of the Eid Qurbani falls. So in short, it's good if you want to do it, but you don't have to do it. Sure. All right.
I have a question was,
Yes.
you have to be in Arabic or you can?
No. There are a handful of du'as that are actually narrated from the Prophet ﷺ. You should know them in Arabic. Dua is from your heart, right? So whatever language you're familiar in, you want to ask in that. However, there should be some du'as that are in Arabic too, the ones that the Prophet used, ﷺ. So I'll recommend a few books at the end. But if you visit our Iqra library, we have multiple Hajj books. They have dua sections in it. It's good to have that with you to recite in those specific places that the Prophet made dua in Arabic. However, if you don't know them, your Hajj will still be valid. But the general structure of dua should be in your own language. Yes. You just wait till that, yeah. But in general, I don't recommend you do Hajj Quran. Yeah. The sister's asking about the different types of Hajj. Qiran is basically where you enter into ihram for Umrah. You keep the same ihram for Hajj. You do all of Hajj with it. Okay? I don't recommend that because let's say theoretically you did your Umrah and now let's say you have 4 days till Hajj starts. So for 4 days, now you have to stay in the state of ihram. So all the restrictions apply, right? Well, if you're in Medina, the way Qiran would work is that, I mean, you're going from Medina to Mecca. Well, you do Mecca, you did your Umrah, right? Now you're in Mecca for 4 days waiting for Hajj. So for those 4 days, if you did Qiran, you're still in the state of ihram now. So for 4 days, you can't be intimate with your spouse. You cannot remove hair, remove nail. You can't use scented products. So the restrictions of ihram apply, right? The easiest Hajj and the most virtuous is tamattu. And tamattu is basically, you do your Umrah just like you're going for Umrah, right? You complete your Umrah, you come out of the ihram from Umrah, and then for Hajj, you make a new ihram. That gives you, it's called tamattu because tamattu means to enjoy between your Umrah and Hajj, you have time to enjoy. So if someone is doing Qiran, then yeah, they don't have to do the hadi. But in the tamattu, person should be able to do it, and I'd recommend doing tamattu. It's very rare to find someone doing Qiran these days. Most people will be doing the tamattu. All right. So like we mentioned, okay, let's go a little bit back here. Okay, so I'm not gonna read through these slides. I'm just gonna help guide, but we will be send them out to you to inshallah be aware. Okay, we said ihram literally means to do what? No, what does ihram mean to do? No, niyyah is how you enter this. What does ihram mean? To wear something? Something halal becoming haram, right? So ihram means to declare something unlawful upon you, all right? When you put the 2 clothes of ihram on for brothers, 2 white pieces of cloth, for sisters, any normal thing, any normal clothes that fulfill the requirements, then you enter into the state of ihram. All right. Before we enter into the state of ihram, what do we need to do? It's sunnah to take a bath. Okay. Now, key word, remember, sunnah, not fard, not wajib. Why do I say this? Because someone who's just landed at Doha or just landed at Abu Dhabi is like calling like, oh my God, I forget, how do I take a shower on the plane, right? So it's sunnah to take a bath. In short, if you're in Medina, this is what you want to do. You went to Medina first, you're in your hotel, take a bath, and then it's mustahab, meaning it's recommended, 1 step below sunnah, recommended to trim your mustache, brothers and sisters, clip your nails, remove hair from your private area, and apply perfume. All right. For brothers, 2 white sheets of cloth suffice, a lower and an upper garment. I recommend you can do 2 things. You can either buy an ihram here, try it out at home. If you are old school and you wear the lungi or the chadar, you're good, brothers. But if not, take something, try it at home. Or look up some videos. It's very simple. I have plenty of videos to show you how to figure out the ihram, just so you have an idea of how to wear it. The biggest restriction problem for brothers is you have to wear sandals. And now you have 2 opinions here. One opinion says the tarsal bone, which is the mid-foot area, has to show, right? So what you're wearing is actually, could you stand up just for the brothers? The easiest slippers to wear to fulfill this is what the brother is wearing, right? What you call the V slippers or the thong slippers. You can get whichever ones you like in this. However, there's another opinion of the remaining scholars. They don't believe that this particular bone needs to be covered. It's a difference of opinion. They say the majority of the foot needs to be uncovered. So for that, brothers, any typical slippers, sandals that you wear that expose majority of the foot, right? Those will suffice. Personally, I wear Birkenstocks. I just think they're more comfortable. They suit me. Whatever you would like to wear, people like Ufus, do your research, go do some shopping, wear it, and try to break into it. Try to see if you're good with it. But those are the two major restrictions for brothers. Sisters, any abaya suffices. Any loose, appropriate, modest clothing does it. The condition for sisters is your face has to be exposed. So for sisters that do wear niqab, they do cover their face. They can either remove it or they have to put something to ensure that something is not touching their face, because nothing should be touching the face for the sisters. Okay, so now that you have your clothes on, so you did the pre-prep, right? You took a bath if you're in Medina. If not, you don't have to. You can skip all of those recommended steps if you're on the plane. All right. What you do is that you can perform 2 rak'ahs of salah before entering into the state of ihram. All right. Now, if you're in Medina, you did your ihram prep, you put on your ihram clothes in the hotel. That's what I recommend. In the hotel, put on your ihram clothes, pray your 2 rak'ahs. Okay. And now you're all set. All you have to do is wait for the miqat, the point, which is either in Medina on the train. Once the train starts, maybe 5 or 10 minutes in, the miqat starts. And then you are good to go. You'll simply make the intention. However, is there anyone that's doing Mecca first? Okay. So if you're in Mecca first, disregard all the previous. Your situation is a little different. It's going to be very difficult and awkward to wear your ihram from here. Right? That's very simple, because like from Lambert to O'Hare to Doha, khalas, you're gonna be like, I'm already done with my Hajj by the time I get to Doha. So what you want to do is pack your ihram, keep your clothes on, do the O'Hare or do the JFK or whatever transfer. When you're in Abu Dhabi or Doha or wherever else it is, your final transit. At that point, take your ihram out and go to the restrooms and wear your ihram there. That will cut the distance short. This is some practical advice. And then the last 2-hour flight or 2.5-hour flight or 3 or 4-hour flight, you'll have to deal with ihram. Okay. You can skip the bath, skip the trimming of the mustache, skip the trimming of the nails, skip all those steps, because those are recommended. However, if you want to delay it further and you want to do it in the plane, you can do that also. It's just very hard because the plane bathroom is small, right? And for brothers, you want to ensure also that you don't tie it too tight. You can barely stand across in the bathroom of the airplane. And then it can get very difficult. So if you want to do it, you can. I'd recommend, especially the lower garment. If you have the lower garment on in Doha or in Abu Dhabi, wherever you are in Dubai, and then if you want to keep like a t-shirt or a shirt on, you can switch that out in the plane, right? That is one easier way to do it too. So delay it till your final stopover. Make sure you put your ihram on there. Otherwise, you'll have to put it on the plane. It's just a little bit difficult to do that. Now, your miqat, what happens is that a little bit before Jeddah, maybe 30 minutes before Jeddah, you actually enter the miqat via air. That's the problem with Jeddah. What that means is now you have the clothes on. Now you're going to make the intention in the plane and enter the state of ihram. And you can't miss it because the pilot will announce it. People around you, everyone is going to be thinking about it, those that are going for Hajj. So is that clear? So Medina first people, Mecca first people. Anything confusing about that part?
Can you please repeat about the nafil prayers?
The 2 rak'ah nafil is recommended before you enter the state of ihram, right? You can pray them sitting down as well because they're not fuddled. So you can pray them sitting down as well. So if you're in your plane, you can pray them sitting down. Otherwise, you can also pray them, for example, before you leave the hotel, for example, in Medina. Let's wait for that, inshallah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Yes, brother, you had a question.
My question was that, in Iran, the belt that is allowed.
Mhm.
So that belt, do we have to go with what they provide us? I've used before, it didn't really work.
Nope, you can get any that you like. There is no restrictions on the type of belt, fabric, whatever you like.
Have a pouch there.
Absolutely, you can have a pouch. No problem. Brother in the back also.
That question is registered also.
Okay,
Not often.
no often.
Yeah, so that,
Yeah, so the nafil, you can pray it sitting down as well on the plane. You can also pray it in your stopover. Both ways are okay.
Once you wear an ram, you have to follow umbrella. Let's say if something changes, you could get there barricaded.
So, I mean, that's why you don't want, so you want to wear the ihram, you don't want to enter into the state of ihram until the last moment. So you wore it in the stopover, but you didn't enter into the state of ihram. That you're going to do in the plane once you're near the miqat. Same thing with Medina. You wore it from the hotel, but you're going to wear it when you're on the train or when you're on the bus and you're actually crossing the miqat. Okay. And that's our next slide. Any other questions related to this?
Yes, sir, please. When we wear ihrams, we can pray 2 rakat,
Yeah, it's, yeah, you can,
but you know, if we are in the airport or something, you know, if we cannot.
so you always, I mean, you can pray it because the miqat doesn't come until 30 minutes before Jeddah. So you can pray it in that flight. When you relax and sit down, you have your luggage up. You can pray it in sitting down. There's no problem with that.
And we make niyyah when,
So Nia, that's what I'm going to do next.
yeah, and we cannot wear socks, right?
No, not in ihram for me. Any other questions? Yes.
So when we set up ihram, so from airport to hotel we come,
Mhm.
we just put the bags down and just go straight away to the,
You don't have to. You can rest if you like. So the rule with ihram is there is never like an expiry time for ihram. So you get to the hotel from, you get off the flight in Jeddah, you get to Mecca, right? And you're like, I just did a 26-hour, 30-hour, 32-hour journey. You can sleep for a whole day if you want. But the restrictions of ihram apply to you. But you can take as long as you want. So here you have two approaches. You have the people who are, you know, like the 5 a.m. wake up, you're like, no, I'm going to do my homework right now. Finish it, done. The other people, they're like, no, I'm going to go sleep, have a shawarma, you know, khalas, we'll see tomorrow. So depends on how you are. Sisters, any questions on this part? Yes.
We've been told that the ladies can wear sneakers. Isn't a different one for ladies, like their foot bone doesn't have?
Ladies, have none of these restrictions. They can wear any any shoes they want, socks, abaya, your fabric. There's no restrictions of this time. It's only for brothers. Yeah, sisters have it easy, mashallah. Yes. Uh-huh. No problem. So the ruling is this: your ihram is not supposed to be stitched, and stitched doesn't mean stitched. Stitched means it's stitched to suit a limb. Like you see how the sleeves are in our shirts, that's stitches. It doesn't mean like there's the markings of the stitch. And even then, theoretically, even if there was like a jacket which you cannot wear, you can always wrap it around your body still. Yeah. So the wrapping doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the belt is. All belts, any fabric, any style, pocket, no pocket, all of it is fine. Sure, no problem. Any other questions for this part? Okay, let's try to wrap this up before Salah. Now that, okay, if you are in Jeddah, if you're coming Mecca first, you did the ihram and the layover, you didn't enter yet. If you're in Medina, you got onto the bus, transferred to the train station, okay? Now, when the miqat is approaching, now you're going to enter into the state of ihram by two things. Two things you have to do. One is niyyah, intention. You don't have to say anything. Intention is in the heart. But if you want to, because sometimes people are very confused and they're like, I don't know, do I have intention or not? You can say, I am entering into ihram. And two, the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma, labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. When you say that, now you're in the state of ihram. Is that clear? Intention and talbiyah. Okay? All right. Talbiyah. If you're going to recite it as much as possible, try to recite it loud. Somebody forgets, remind the other people. People will sleep after every little bit. It's good to remind people. The talbiyah should be recited as much as possible for the one performing Umrah, until you see the Kaaba. Okay, so every few minutes you're going to forget, you're going to sleep, you're going to doze off, you're distracted. Okay, let's start the talbiyah again. All right, now we got distracted. Let's start it again. And you keep it going as much as you can. Key points. What can you not do in ihram? What are those restrictions? What is haram in ihram? Number one, sins. Sins that were otherwise haram anyways are even more haram. Haram squared, right? Because now you are in a specific state coming in front of Allah. So foul language, fighting, quarreling, any of those things that are otherwise haram, we want to stay away from. All forms of intimacy with one's spouse, right? Especially for Umrah, it's easy. It's just a few hours. You can speak with your spouse, be with your spouse. You can hold the hand of your spouse. For example, if you're going for a tawaf, absolutely you should make sure that you're together, you don't get lost. All of that is fine. But intimacy in and of itself is not permissible until you leave the state of ihram. Wearing the typical clothes like a jubba, qamis for brothers, jacket, t-shirt, dress shirt, anything that is stitched for the limbs. You cannot wear that in the state of ihram. All right? Brothers and sisters, perfumes, fragrances, anything that the dominant in it is fragrance is not allowed. Okay? Technically, soap should be fine. The problem is our soap is not really soap. It's a majority of scents and fragrances and a small part of soap. So if unscented soap is the best to get for that, you cannot remove hair, you cannot comb, you cannot pluck, you cannot trim, you cannot cut, you cannot clip your nails. All right. And the footwear, which we covered, the restrictions for the brothers. All right. Brothers, you cannot cover your head. So you cannot wear a hat, you cannot wear a topi, you cannot wear anything on your head. However, sisters, none of those apply. For sisters, obviously, they will wear their hijab as usual. Brothers and sisters, you cannot cover your face in the sense that something should not be touching your face. All right. To hunt, this was, yes. You can wear a visor? No. You cannot wear anything. You can have an umbrella, anything that's not touching your face, and that you can wear, like an umbrella. Say again?
You can have an umbrella with you?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Anything that's not touching your face or your head. So if you sit under the shade or hold an umbrella, it's the same thing. Any form of shade is permissible. To hunt or help in hunting is not really relevant to us. It used to be the case in the old days. To kill lice, killing animals is not allowed. Okay. Last thing before salah, so we can wrap this up. Permissible acts in ihram. You can have a shower at any time if you like, no problem. Unscented soap, no problem. Injections, bandages, sunglasses, glasses, watches, rings, no problem. Change a diaper, not really relevant anymore. Use a miswak, no problem. Yes, if you're cold, you can wrap yourself in anything, brothers. Wrap yourself in another ihram. Wrap yourself in a blanket, no problem. Wearing a belt is fine. To kill any harmful animal that comes is also fine. It's salah time now, inshallah, but what's left is umrah. And this is ihram. Are we clear on ihram? Any questions from ihram? Because then we'll pick up from umrah after salah, inshallah. Okay, so remove dirt is that basically, see, the theory of ihram is that you are forgetting to take care of yourself for a little bit. So extensive cleaning of your skin and things of that sort, it's against the spirit of ihram, because you're like, Allah, this is just how I am in my bare state. I'm not caring about my hygiene anymore, just for a little bit of time. And that, so, yes.
So if a woman is in advance, can she change her abaya or it has to be the same?
You can
abaya?
change it anytime, brothers and sisters. You can change ihram again, no problem. If it gets dirty, gets spoiled, no problem. You can change it.
Touch our face.
Yes.
In the shower and wudu, can we wipe our face with a towel or?
Wiping is fine.
With a towel it's
Wiping is fine. Yeah. Inshallah. We'll resume after salah. Inshallah.
So what if I did it wrong? You can take it out. If you can.
Yeah, no problem.
استوعبوا visual industry extension solution controls. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Boys Halaqah will be in the Masala after Sunnah prayer. In the Masala after Tafsir.
Inshallah, we'll also continue with the Hajj Seminar, which has been ongoing in the Tafsir room. Inshallah, we'll continue with that after the Sunnah as well. And just a reminder that this evening, inshallah, after Maghrib, we'll have a guest speaker, Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, inshallah, will be giving the lecture after Maghrib Salah. And tomorrow after Fajr, inshallah, Sheikh Farhan Sharif will be inshallah giving the khatira after Fajr. Jazakallah.
Assalamualaikum. So you're going for Hajj this year?
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. What is the name of the brand you said for sandals?
I wear Birkenstocks, but that's just me. What works for me?
Do you guys have a sign up list for the where you're gonna send the links and all that?
So
Are you guys planning to do that?
it'll be sent on the IFGC WhatsApp announcements group.
Okay.
Are you on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the group will be linked there, and then you'll get all the.
Perfect. It'll be on that.
It'll be all there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really cold. I don't know.
I'm going my brother. He's also
Mashallah.
my younger brother.
Assalamualaikum. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Shahidul Zaman, mashallah.
I'm Muhammad Sharif Zaman.
Mashallah.
And our older sons are also going to this.
Okay, mashallah. So four total?
And then the wives.
Wives oh mashallah. Mashallah. So when's your departure from here?
From Chicago on the 20th of May.
20th of May. Okay.
And we're going to Medina first.
Medina first, okay. Nice.
So I got Kiran or the Matao.
Tamato, yeah.
So we actually have one night. So we.
I would still recommend Tamato
Okay.
because it'll give you the ability, at least for one night, to get out of Ihram,
Okay.
to relax, to sleep, to get ready,
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the Hadaya and Hadi is different?
So Hadaya, the Hadi is just the sacrifice that you do for Hajj. Hadi. It's called Hadi.
Okay.
Hadaya is not any.
No. Like the money I already paid for a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the Hadi.
Oh, that is the Hadi. Okay.
The Dam is
that's an additional hadi, like an extra hadi, if you make a violation of the Hajj. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So if you want to do another Umrah, you have to first once you've left this ihram by shaving your head or trimming, then you'd go to Masjid Aisha, which is the famous place is called Masjid Aisha. Right? So famously, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was not able to do her Umrah, so the Prophet told her to go to Tan'im, this area. It's maybe 25 minutes out. You take a taxi, you'd go there. And then from there, you'd enter again into ihram and then come back in.
Okay, so basically we would have to just go to that.
So you wear your ihram in the hotel,
Okay.
go to that place, Masjid Aisha, make your intention, read the talbiyah, come back into Makkah.
Come back. Okay.
It's really actually a lot of taxi driver just waits there.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people going.
Like that.
Someone just told me, I had that question that they said that they may have already asked that question about men wearing visor, where the top is so, it's just the visor for the forehead.
Right.
And you said it's not permissible.
No.
Not even like, if it's not covered.
Because
the head.
there's two things that men can't have covered: their head as well as their face.
So it's not head, it's like visor is just like the forehead.
So the forehead is a part of the face.
The face, okay.
Because the face is
I see.
in wudu where we wash
Not the head. Oh, yeah.
from the beginning of the
Yeah,
hair.
I
and-
understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So both hair and
Yeah.
my sisters can. They have it
No,
easier.
I know about the sisters.
How do we get this slideshow?
So all of these materials, we'll send it in a Hajj support group that we're going to make, inshallah. And the link for the Hajj support group will be in the IFGSTL WhatsApp.
Okay, it will be on the website.
On the WhatsApp. The IFGSTL WhatsApp.
I'm not in. I just want to give my email address. I need this.
So the easiest way for you to join is if you just go to our website.
Okay.
Or actually, just send me an email. I'll add you to it. You can send me an email.
I'll write on my.
Sure. So,
If a library wants to put a table over here
sure.
to sell the Hajj and Umrah.
Sure.
It's coded for this.
It is.
So you can.
We'll have the link sent out. inshallah. All right, welcome back, everyone. We were discussing ihram and we had wrapped it up. Any questions, confusions regarding ihram before we move on? Restrictions of ihram, what's allowed in ihram. Are we clear on that? All right, all good? Inshallah? Yes.
Making any mistake.
Just wait, that will be the last session. So all together, all the violations, the kafarat will all come together, inshallah. So we'll discuss that. Okay. Now Umrah. Now that we have ihram sorted, okay. Now, as you can see here, there are 7 steps for Umrah on the screen, and you can understand how you have fard, sunnah, and wajib. And remember when we said fard has to be done, right? If a fard is missed, same thing for salah. If a fard of salah is missed, there's no way to make it up. So fard has to be done. Wajib has to be done also, but if it's missed due to an excuse or there's a violation, then same thing, done. A additional sacrifice can be paid. And the discussion of the violations will come at the end. So all of the things that you might feel, what if I violated my ihram, major violation, minor, all of that will come, inshallah. So, ghusl for ihram, we said is sunnah, 2 rak'ahs before ihram, sunnah. So even if you were not able to do it, completely okay. And then the ihram with intention and talbiyah. We did that in the plane for those coming to Mecca. We did that in the bus or train for those coming from Medina. Now we're at number 4, which is tawaf. Okay. Yes.
In Niyyah, we will say Nawaitu Umrah, Nawaitu Umrah wa Hajj.
You don't have to say it. Yeah, I mean the niyyah is in the heart. But if you would like to say it just so you don't feel confused, you can say that Nawaitul Umrah if for Umrah. and nawaitul hajj if for hajj. However, if you say nawaitul hajj wal umrah, or I make an intention for hajj and umrah, you're in qiran. What that means is that now you've made the ihram for both hajj and umrah together. So you cannot leave the ihram after umrah. So you have to be very careful. When you make the intention, you're making the intention for umrah only. Only. And then when you make the intention for hajj only. So you don't have to deal with being in qiran. Because once you're in qiran, then you have to stick with it. Okay. City of Mecca, some guidelines about it. The first thing is we want to enter with humility. Obviously, this is a very grateful, all of this preparation, all of what we're doing is to get there. You finally get there, you just want to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us that opportunity. Question I'll hear a lot, it says on the slides about it's not a sightseeing trip. A lot of people feel confused. Is it okay if I take pictures? Should I not take pictures? Some people are very strict about it. They say no pictures. I feel that people like to keep a memory. It's nice to have a picture. However, there's a balance. One thing is you take a picture with your group. Maybe when you're done with the Umrah, you take a picture with your family. And one thing is you're literally live streaming the whole Umrah. So there's a balance to be found, right? Try not to make your whole Umrah experience through your phone or Medina, and it's really it really takes away, because like now even in Medina, like when you're going to through Bab al-Salam to give salam to the Prophet ﷺ, all these people are on video calls, right? And they themselves are forgetting that this is the closest you'll ever be to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. And like the other person, there's like someone screaming in the background, there's like weird noise, hey, can you hear me? You can't hear me. And it's just not respectful. Take a picture if you'd like, no problem. Maybe when you're done with your Umrah, take a picture with your family, take a picture with your friends or whoever's with you, no problem. But just be balanced about it. Don't make your video and your pictures the whole dominant theme of your Umrah. So be smart about it. Maybe wait till the end, take a Umrah with those, and take a picture with those around you, inshallah. So once you wore the ihram for Medina, train or bus, transfer to hotel, Jeddah folks, transfer from Jeddah to hotel. Now, when you're there, you put your stuff down. Okay. Be smart about it, because look at the time of the day and look at those with you, right? Brothers sometimes have a little bit more energy. They can go on, but the sisters, they're like, I don't think I can do it right now. You have someone older also, maybe you're younger, you can do it. Older people, parents, maybe, it can be difficult. So be smart about it. Turn on the, screen in your hotel room for the live stream of the Kaaba. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. How's the rush like? And then you can make a decision. You can go immediately. You can go later. There's no restriction. So if you get in the daytime, you want to go in the night, you can go in the night. You can go in the morning. There's no restriction time. Generally, the daytime has less people. And the nighttime has more people. But there's a trade-off. Daytime, there's sun. At nighttime, there's no sun. So you have to figure it out. Some people, they're like, we don't care about the sun. I'll toughen it out. But it's a much shorter tawaf in the daytime, so I might as well do it there. Some people, they're very sensitive to the sun. They can't last it, so they're like, I don't care if it's longer. I want to do it in the night. But in any case, the sa'i, there's no sun because it's all air conditioned. It's actually very cold now at times at the sa'i. So the main thing is the tawaf. So time yourself, take rest if you need to. You can shower if you need to. You can eat food if you need to. There's no restrictions during that time. All right. Then you go towards the Kaaba. One of the tried and tested ways that your dua is accepted is the first time you see the Kaaba. So make that moment special. Ask for the du'as that you've been waiting for, the du'as that you need the most when you see the Kaaba. Okay. So there's a few things that we need to understand for understanding tawaf, right? The most critical part is the al-hajar al-aswad, the black stone, okay? If you haven't been there before, spoiler, if you're going to look at black, you're not going to see where it is. You're looking for that silver casing that's on the corner. I think we have a clearer picture in the slide. Right there. So you see there's this little slit. Tip one, you'll see you can't even see it here. It's the silver casing is on the corner. But also the other tip is you can see this beautiful calligraphy print that's covering the door of the Kaaba. Okay. So automatically you see door and corner nearest to door. That's Al-Hajar al-Aswad. If you look exactly parallel to the other side, you'll see a green light. The green light is also marking that. So green light, sign 1, sign 2, black stone, which is in the silver casing, sign 3, the door nearest to the corner. All of that is going to point out this corner. This is the most important corner that you need to be aware of. This is a general kind of breakdown of the Kaaba. There isn't any relevance to doing Umrah. It's just to know, in general, most of these things like the Hatim, which is the semicircle around the Kaaba, it's technically a part of the Kaaba. And then each of the corners has its own unique name. All right. Okay. Tawaf is a fard act, both of Umrah and Hajj. It has to be done. Right. And you also have to have wudu for it. So that's the second tough part. Sa'i, Safa Marwa, you don't need wudu. So even if you lose your wudu, you're good. You just have to get through the tawaf part. All right. And you want to go around the Kaaba 7 times. And you begin by going to the black stone, which we said is also parallel to what? Green light. Green light, black stone, you're going to head there. Now, ideally, it's hard to get into the flow, so you want to start from a little bit behind so that you can ease yourself into the flow. By the time you get to the green light, to the Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone, you're ready to start. Brothers, before you start your tawaf, you want to do something called iltiba'. Iltiba' was done by the Prophet ﷺ. Basically, typically you take your sheet, right? And you kind of throw it over. Brothers, right? Here what you do is, instead of throwing it over, you bring it underneath your right shoulder. So your right shoulder is exposed. Okay? And what then happens is that you do your tawaf in that manner with your shoulder exposed. You'll see a lot of people, their shoulders exposed, men. And that's why they do it. Once tawaf is completed, you will cover your shoulder again. Again, this is for brothers only. The recitation of Talbiyah has ended now. No more Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, because you were saying, Allah, here I am. I'm coming. But now you're here. So the Talbiyah stops. Okay, so once you're in line with the black stone, now you will do 2 things. You will do the istiqbal and the istilam. Okay? Basically, you will raise your hands. Like we do in Salah. I will begin your hands. And you face the black stone and you say, Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. And then you put them down. Almost like we have a takbir for the Salah. This is for the tawaf. So just hands up, just like this. Right? Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Just that, facing the black stone. Okay? Actually, this is the default. The default is you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to say Bismillah Allahu Akbar while kissing the black stone. But the reality is it's just so hard to do it. And if you can't kiss it, you touch. Istilam is called touch. You touch the black stone. But it's very hard to do it. And for some reason, and there's virtue of it, but not to that extent, for some reason, people are really crazy over touching it. I mean, if you get close, good luck. I mean, it can get very tough, and it's just not, unless you find a very good moment, it's very hard, especially sisters, you can get shoved, you can get pushed, and it can get very, very ugly. The rule is this: kissing the black stone is recommended. Hurting someone or harming someone or causing someone to literally their clothes to fall off is haram. So you have to do the math. A preferred act versus a haram act. This is called maslaha. So you say, I'm going to leave the preferred act because a haram act is being incurred. However, it doesn't always have to be like that. For example, like Dhuhr time, sometimes you can get lucky. And in my, not in my Hajj, in my Umrah for Hajj, we did get lucky. I did it at Dhuhr time. And sometimes there's few people and they tell you to make a line. And if you're just really lucky, you're in the right place at the right time, halas, there's a line, 30 people, the line moves fast and you can do it very easily. If that opportunity arises, Bismillah, that's a gift from Allah. If not, remember, you keep from a distance, you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, and this is called the istilam. Now you're in tawaf. Tawaf has begun. Okay. Okay. All right. Now that tawaf has begun, what will you do? You will essentially go around back to that point to complete one round. All right. You will walk. For brothers, there's another sunnah. It's called ramal. Ramal means to walk briskly, and you're going to walk a little bit faster. However, this can be very difficult, if not impossible, due to the Hajj rush. So if you have the ability to do it, Bismillah. Walk a little bit faster, a little bit faster. If you see that it's clearly difficult, you're bumping into people, people are bumping into you, there's clearly not enough space, walk at a normal place. It's only recommended. Sisters, do not do ramal. And all right. Okay. What are you doing in this whole round? Remember how I said learn the art of dua? The whole of tawaf is supposed to be dua. Some people read like Quran. It's okay, but it's not like the sunnah to read Quran technically. The sunnah is dua. If you don't know what dua to make, what are you going to do? And if you're really lucky, the fastest tawaf I've done is 18 minutes. And that was in a Umrah that was very fast. Likely during this time, it's going to be 30 to 1 minutes to an hour is your tawaf. What are you going to do for an hour? So if you know your du'as, you can do it. Now, some people, they have it very organized, like the Indonesians. They have like these dua books, like round 1, du'as, round 2, du'as, round 3, du'as, round 4, du'as. And a lot of people like hasten, some scholars will also say like that's bid'ah, like it's not. But, you know, as long as you don't think you have to do it, you know, there's some leeway for it, because for a lot of people, they don't know what to say. So to just have someone reading some du'as out loud, just for the intention of helping people, like they're going to talk during the whole time. It's okay from that angle. But there's nothing prescribed. There's no sunnah, there's no mandatory du'a. And that's what becomes bid'ah. If you say, no, you have to do this, or this has to be done, or this is the way it's done, that's what makes it that. So if you find a book and it has multiple du'as, usually those du'as are from the sunnah. You can make it like that. Or if you do like round 1 du'as for myself, time passes by, round 2 du'a for my kids, round 3 du'a for my parents, round 4 du'a for my community, round 5 du'a for this world, round 6 du'a for akhirah, round 7 du'a for the ummah. Khalas, your tawaf is done. You won't even know it, right? So there's nothing wrong in doing any of that stuff, as long as you don't think it's mandatory, as long as you don't think it's sunnah. It's just a logistical way to organize your du'as and to keep you focused.
You forget everything you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you can wear earplugs. There's nothing stopping you technically from wearing earplugs. Just be careful, because you also want to be able to hear if someone is screaming or yelling or someone's been pushed, so that you're situationally aware also. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with wearing earplugs in tawaf.
Tawaf in daytime. So how near we can take the umbrella?
How near you can take the umbrella? As near as you can go. Yeah.
So usually tawaf, some groups frequently say that dua Rabbana atina fid dunya.
Yeah, we're coming to that. We're coming to that. That's the only dua that's prescribed in tawaf is that for one part, which we're coming to, right?
One comment about umbrella, I've seen
Mhm.
umbrella take some space. And
Yeah.
it's crowded,
Yeah.
start hitting others. Yeah. Very careful.
So that's where we remember that rule again, right? Where hurting others is haram. Anything that will cause pain to others, we don't want to do it, right? If you have an umbrella and you can handle it well, and there's not enough people around you, maybe you're way out or you're in the first level, sure, do it. But otherwise, yeah, be careful. You don't poke someone in the eye. You don't hit someone. All right. So that's why it's very important to know the du'as. You want to avoid talking, although talking is fine. It will not invalidate the tawaf, but you want to be engaged in dua. Don't read so loud so that you disturb others. You're screaming and others cannot obviously understand, or others are distracted. It's disliked to eat. You should not cut through the hatim. It's difficult to do anyways. The hatim is the semicircle around the Kaaba. If you get a chance to pray in it, you've prayed in the Kaaba, because that semicircle was originally a part of the Kaaba. That's why you cannot cut through it, right? So you have to go around it. Just for reference, this is that semicircle that you see on the right side of the screen. That's that semicircle that we're speaking about. Okay. You can drink Zamzam, no problem. If your wudu breaks or Fard Salah starts, the simple rule, you pause, continue from where you left off. All right. There is no istilam at the other corners. There is no istilam at the other corners. You pass by it just as normal. It is permissible to, or actually is recommended, mustahab, to touch the Rukn Yamani. The Rukn Yamani, it's exposed and you can tell that there's almost like a different texture to it. But more simply, it's the last corner before the Hajj al-Aswad. Now you can see the green light. You've turned, you can see the green light. You have one more corner to go. That's the Rukn Yamani. That should be touched if possible. You can see it right here. And you can see it has a little bit of that grayish kind of rough structure to it, you can see. The Rukn Yamani is much easier to touch. It's much easier to touch, especially if it's not a peak time tawaf. All right. Now the only dua that's masnoon, that's from the sunnah in the tawaf, is this Rukn Yamani, last corner to the Al-Hajar al-Aswad. You say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. This is from the sunnah. You should definitely try to do that. Okay. And now that you have reached the black stone, you've completed one round. And then you do the second, same exact way, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round you complete, and the tawaf is complete. So, how many rounds for tawaf? 7. And how many istilams? How many times did you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar? Not 7, 8. Because you start with it, you end with it. So it becomes 8 istilams. In total, 7 tawaf. Okay. Now it is wajib to perform 2 rak'ahs after tawaf, ideally behind the Maqam Ibrahim. Maqam Ibrahim is like a golden case you can see displayed a bit out from the Kaaba, but it can be very difficult to find the spot. And what you can do is that you can pray then anywhere in the Haram. It's only recommended to pray behind the Maqam Ibrahim if there is space. No space, no problem. You can pray it anywhere else. Okay, question for, obviously there are certain times where it's disliked to pray, right? For example, after the Fajr prayer until sunrise, right? At the time of Zawal, the Zenith, which is right before Dhuhr, when the sun is straight up, also after Asr prayer. However, there is a difference of opinion here. If it is difficult for you to stay, so for example, you just completed Umrah, Fajr, you just completed your tawaf right at Fajr, and now, you're unable to wait till sunrise, or similarly between Asr and Maghrib, then you can go ahead and act on the other opinion, inshallah, and pray your 2 rak'ahs and proceed onwards. Sa'i, second to last part of the Umrah. Sa'i is a wajib element, so it has to be done. And the simple task of Sa'i is to walk between Safa and Marwa. Safa you start with, and you go onwards to Marwa. It used to be 2 hills, but there's really nothing to climb up anymore other than a bit of a kind of a steep incline that's there. The actual hill or mount is preserved behind glass. So you would simply make your way there, and you're going to go once to Marwa, and that's 1, back to Safa, that's 2. So there's not a round trip. Otherwise you do it double. Every time you go from one mount to another, that's 1. Safa to Marwa 1, Marwa to Safa 2, Safa to Marwa 3, and so on until you complete 7. And Sa'i is called Mas'a. Here's a practical tip for the Mas'a. There are multiple floors. Ask the cleaners or ask the guards, they can tell you. There are multiple floors. The main floor usually can be more packed. You can go to another floor and do it. And it's the same experience, same distance, nothing changes, unlike Tawaf. And you can go to the other Mas'a to have it a bit more relaxed there, inshallah. Okay, you did the 2 rak'ahs. Now you head towards the Mas'a. This is a little picture, so you can see that's the back and forth there. It's kind of adjacent to the Haram. It's a part of the Haram now, both the Safa and the Marwa. So you're going to figure out your way from Tawaf, follow the signs for Mas'a, and make it there. You start with Safa. You face the Qibla and you say, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Again, you have to learn how to make dua, because on the mount of Safa, or whatever is left of the hill that we're there on, you make dua. And when you get to Marwa, you do the same thing, facing the Qibla. And you get to Safa again, you do the same thing. And then you get to Marwa again, you do the same thing. And the whole time in between, you also make dua or dhikr. So literally your whole Umrah is just dua and dhikr of Allah. So really you have to get familiar with how to do it. All right. Also, there is a certain portion of the sa'i which is demarcated by 2 green lights. In that, men should run, and this is where our mother Hajj ran, and that's why it's sunnah for males to run in that area, light running. But again, ensure you're not harming anyone or making anyone trip over. And the scholars say that our mother Hajj ran because she desperately needed water for her son Ismail. And we run because we desperately need the mercy of Allah, right? So just like her desperation, that's what you're doing in Safa. You're like running, Allah, please just forgive me somehow. Allah, please just have mercy on me. That same desperation that our mother Hajar has, we go with that in the hopes that we get mercy just like she got water for her baby, alayhi salam. Okay, sisters, do not run between the 2 green lights. When you reach Marwa, 1 lap is complete, back to Safa, and similarly, each way, it's a 1 way, is considered 1 lap. Similarly, every time you get to Marwa and Safa, take some time, find a spot to the side, face the Qibla, say Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, make dua, and you rinse and you repeat, you rinse and you repeat until you have completed. This picture is a little bit old, but it's quite similar to what it is, and you can see that's the actual Mount Safa in the back. You can get up on it, but there is a bit of an incline to get even close to that currently. And that's Marwa on the other side. It is mustahab to perform 2 rak'ahs in the masjid after your sa'i is complete, which will be completed on Marwa. All right, so the opposite side. You don't need wudu to have it. If you lose wudu, you're okay. If you want to take a break for salah, simply you pray salah where it is. For sisters, generally what sisters will do is they'll make, once the adhan is called, then you sisters will go in the back of whichever side of Safa or Marwa you're on, and sisters will perform, make their rows there, and brothers towards the front. And that's how you can complete your salah there. Last step is the halq or qasl, tahliq or taqsir. Brothers have to shave their head or trim their head. And now you have 2 options. If you have the Hajj coming, you can trim your hair and shave it then on Hajj, or you can shave both times. Both is okay. The Prophet ﷺ, he made dua thrice for the one who shaves, once for the one who trims. So it's permissible to trim. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is better to shave. Sisters would cut about the amount of hair that wraps around a finger, so just a small amount, and you can cut it yourself. Someone else can cut it for you, for example, your husband or someone else with you in your room, for example. There's also no restriction on where you need to get the hair cut. You can cut it in your room, you can cut it anywhere else, but obviously for sisters, because they would have to expose their hair, so they do it in their room. Okay, with that, I think we're complete. Anything left for Ramadan before Mufti Asif is here, and he'll take over for the 5 days of Hajj, inshallah. Yes. It is sunnah to recite Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah from Surah Al-Baqarah when you start at Safa, because the Prophet did that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No other ayah is sunnah.
So we can recite it both Safa and Marwa.
The sunnah is to start it once in the start. That is the sunnah to recite it. Once in the start when you reach Safa. That's where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited.
The last one, we have to do Sayyid or only Kaba.
That's coming. That's coming next, inshallah.
Paperwork or electronic.
Whatever works for you. You can use your phone or you can use that. Some people, it can be very distracting. Your phone, you're getting calls, messages. So if you want to have a physical mushaf, I would recommend that. Personally, that works better for me. You can stay more focused, but you can use your phone as a mushaf, no problem. Brothers, any questions?
I'm not parent. So I intend to go for Hajj for adults. Let children only for Umrah. So can the children return back?
Can they, sorry, could you repeat that, please?
So if he was difficult to
Yeah.
other parents who were performing Hajj, and he went 1 month before.
Yeah.
So children who want to return back after doing Umrah. So
Yeah.
it's advisable to do such plan.
I mean, if the children would return where? If they can travel alone, then there's no problem with that. But you'd have to check the visa regulations, because I believe as of now, you actually cannot enter unless you have specific documentation. So A, you want to check the visas first to see if they can even get in just for Umrah. B, see if they're able to travel on their own. And that's the other issue. But yeah, technically speaking, they could do that. If you can logistically arrange for it, there's no problem in them doing that. All right, inshallah. So we'll just take a quick 2-minute break, inshallah, and then Mufti Asif will begin with Fiqh of Hajj. So you can stand up, stretch, inshallah, just get refreshed, inshallah, and then we can get into the Fiqh of Hajj, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Should bring over here. All right. Yeah, go for it. Alaikum salam. Are you, sister? You okay? Sure.
So just to mention a couple of resources I said. So in the back, we have an Iqra library table. If you're looking for a book, this is a very, very good book. It's called Perfecting the Journey by Sheikh Hussein Abdul Sattar. It's very simple, very clearly, very easily written in English. It also has, at the end, a few general du'as to know. So a good book to have. It has Umrah, it has Hajj, it has Medina. I'd recommend maybe you get it, keep it with you. Next weekend, sit down with your spouse if you're going, or your child or your parent, and go over sections of it. Also keep it with you in Hajj, because the day before you can look forward to the next day. Very well written. Secondly, we have a number of books for like the daily dua books, right? These are different collections of different du'as from the Prophet ﷺ. Try to get one and just familiarize yourself reading through it so you can get the hang of it, as well as giving some time for your Jamal du'as. So after you're done, inshallah, the table's in the back. The proceeds go to our Iqra library, so do inshallah ta'ala check those books out, inshallah ta'ala. And lastly, I do have to leave due to another commitment. Please do remember me in your du'as for those that are going for Hajj. Make dua for me and my family, inshallah, and for the entirety of our community, and they'll accept your journey. Jazakumullah khairan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم So first and foremost, Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh Hamzah, and also to our other speakers who had spoken before, Brother Caleb and Dr. Salma as well, for their advices on this ever important journey. Alhamdulillah. I know I wasn't here a little earlier. I had another commitment. So how many people here are going for Hajj or registered to go for Hajj this year, inshallah? MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So it's a great, great blessing and honor for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your journey and make it a reality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you strong and healthy and accept from all of you. Ameen, ameen. Yeah, so this is most definitely one of those journeys that, of course, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith, that Islam is built upon 5 things. Buniyal Islam ala khams. And literally it's the 5 pillars, right? So Hajj is one of those 5 pillars of Islam. So those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given the capability financially as well as physically to perform Hajj, then blessed are you. Fortunate are you. And you should be grateful and thankful to Allah for giving you that blessing and that opportunity to perform Hajj. And especially in the time that we're in nowadays, where Hajj is just getting more and more expensive and just more difficult to even register for, with the system that they have. Those who are fortunate to receive the packages and financially able, that's the first step. And alhamdulillah, you are sacrificing a lot of your hard-earned money and hard-earned wealth for the sake of Allah. So everything that you do over there and every moment that you have over there, remember that it is a gift from Allah. And you take advantage of every single second that you have. Do not waste even 1 second that you have, because every single second that you are over there for this journey, it is ibadah, it is worship. And the consequence of that ibadah and worship is, of course, forgiveness from Allah. And a Hajj Mabrur is a person who is forgiven just like they're a newborn. And there's only 2 instances where the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned in the hadith where a person has that type of forgiveness. One is for a revert, one who becomes a Muslim. Right? They say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, after living a life of jahiliyyah. Now they are forgiven just as if they are a newborn baby. And the second one is the one who performs Hajj for the sake of Allah, Hajj Mabrur, and accepted Hajj. They are forgiven just as if they are newborn. So it's like a second new life. You want to take such advantage of these moments that by the time you come back to your home and your home country and so on and so forth, you are now a changed person. All those habits that you had before that were in disobedience to Allah, they're gone. That is your past life. You are over that. You are now a changed person and a new person, and now you move forward in that life, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessed opportunity that He has given. So the rulings for Umrah have gone over. I don't know if if the rulings regarding females have gone over yet, but we'll go over one particular thing at the end of the Hajj presentation, but I'll just talk about this as well. But for the females, of course, when it comes to the aspect of experiencing the hayd or the cycle, there are several actions which are not permissible for them while they are in this particular state. Number 1 is, of course, the performance of salah, as we know. Number 2, fasting. Number 3, recitation of the Quran. Anyone who's in the state of janaba or in the state of impurity, they cannot recite the Quran, whether they are a male or a female. Touching the Quran as well, that is impermissible in the state of menstruation. Entering a masjid or boundaries of a masjid, that is impermissible. Performing tawaf, because tawaf is done within the masjid boundaries, that is impermissible as well. Of course, intimate relations with one's spouse, and of course, seeing the area between the navel and the knee in the time when she is in that cycle is also forbidden for the husband as well. So if a woman is in a state where she does enter into the state of hayd before going to the miqat or the boundary to make ihram, then she will not perform that 2 rak'ah of salah, which was already spoken about before making the intention for getting into the state of ihram. This is for Umrah we're talking about, because getting into ihram for Hajj is a little different. So a woman merely will recite the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and so on, and she'll make the intention to get into the state of ihram. Right? She can recite talbiyah and any dua in the state of menstruation. That is, of course, permissible to do so. And she can even recite du'as that are in the Quran, as long as the intention is for dua. For example, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana, or any dua that is there in the Quran, she can recite that. But of course, these are things she cannot recite the Quran itself, perform salah into the masjid, or perform tawaf in that particular state. And if she's experiencing that, she will not, once again it's mentioned, she will not enter Masjid al-Haram until after her period is over and she has made the ghusl.
And if she has entered into the state of ihram and was experiencing her menses, then she will not perform the umrah until after she becomes free of that. So she will have to remain in the state of ihram until she performs the umrah as well. And there's a way around this, and we'll talk about this first, that if she could not perform umrah due to the Hajj day starting, so say for example, she got into the state of hayd, and then she could not perform the umrah, and now the days of Hajj are about to start, and she's still in that state, then she should release herself from the ihram of umrah, and then enter into the state of ihram for Hajj. So, basically, what she would have to do then is she would have to perform qada of that umrah at a later time, if there's time to do that after the Hajj is over. And a dam penalty would be given in this scenario, which is, the slaughtering of a sheep or a goat, a small animal within the precincts of the haram. And there's places over there where you can pay the amount that's needed for that, and then they will take care of it for you. So that's one thing just to keep in mind of. Umrah should not be performed between the 9th and the 13th of Dhul Hijjah by men and women, because these are the days of Hajj. So it's only locals who go and perform Umrah during these days. But for those who are there for Hajj, they cannot perform Umrah during these particular days. So just one ruling here, and this is just general for Umrah. Now, if a woman, for example, she was in the state of hayd during the days of Makkah, and now she has to go back and she has to travel back, and the travel arrangements have been made, and nowadays logistically it's just very difficult to stay for a long time. What does she do in this case? Because she cannot release herself from ihram until she actually performs the Umrah. So the ulama say that worst case scenario, on the last day she is there in Makkah, then she would have to go there and perform the tawaf while she is in the state of hayd, even though it is makruh tahrimi to do so. But at the end of the day, at least she will have the condition where she can perform that tawaf and then perform the sa'i, and then she can get out of the state of ihram after clipping the hair. But what would have to happen is that a penalty would have to be paid. So you would have to do the dam penalty of that small animal within the precincts of the haram as a penalty for that, and then she would be free from ihram, so at least she can travel back home. Otherwise, what would happen is that if it's not done, if she gets into the state of ihram without performing umrah, she would actually remain in the state of ihram until she actually performs the umrah. So that's the way around that particular aspect. And we'll talk about the aspect of tawaf al-ziyarah at the end of Hajj, if a woman is in her hayd in that time. So first and foremost, the days of Hajj. Hajj itself, as we know, the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned various fada'il and virtue with regards to the Hajj, right? So the Prophet ﷺ was asked in a hadith, which is muttafaqun alayh, meaning agreed upon. Muttafaqun alayh, usually we say surahu sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim, and it's a very, very strong hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ was asked, which is the best action? And he replied, belief in Allah and His Rasul. So then he was asked, then what? Then jihad fi sabilillah. And then what? And then an accepted Hajj. This is one hadith. But another one where the Prophet ﷺ says the performance of an umrah is an expiation for the sins committed between it and the previous ones. So just FYI, because I know I see people taking pictures of the slides. We do have the PDF of this. So inshallah, what we can do is afterwards, what I will do is we will get everyone's, maybe we'll pass around a sheet or something like that at the end and get everyone's email addresses or contact information. And then what I will do is I will email everyone this PDF of this entire presentation, whether it's Umrah and it's Hajj. So you'll have it at your disposal, inshallah. You can also look over it yourself. That will save you from having to take any pictures of the slides or anything like that, inshallah. So the performance of Umrah is an expiation for the sins committed between it and the previous ones, right? So those who go for Umrah frequently, there's some who go once a year, some go maybe twice a year, some go every couple of years, whatever it may be. Alhamdulillah, that's a great blessing. Every time you go, it's a forgiveness of sins between that Umrah and the next Umrah that you do. So the more Umrahs that a person travels for, alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing for them. And the reward of Hajj Mabrur is nothing but Jannah, paradise. Look at that, subhanAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving something which is so great, something which is everlasting in Jannah. Whoever performs Hajj to the house and does not commit any obscenity and wrongdoing, he or she will come out as the day he or she was born, pure and free from sins. We had talked about this already. So again, this is another reason why every moment that you have over there is important, right? Don't do anything to harm someone, to hurt someone. Don't do anything which you're using your tongue for backbiting or slandering, or just don't waste your time with ill talk, or don't waste your time doing things that you otherwise typically would do outside. Remember, every moment, this is why, as Sheikh Hamzah stressed, that learning how to make dua and the importance of dua is so important, because you'll have a lot of extra time during Hajj as well. It will not just be performance of actions constantly. You'll have a lot of time in your tent in Mina. You'll be sitting there. You'll have a lot of extra time to yourself. When you have that time, you use it to the best of your capability. When it comes to dhikr, when it comes to dua, when it comes to Quranic recitation, when it comes to even reading books of hadith or books of seerah, whatever you're doing, something that is beneficial, try to do it to keep yourself occupied, because it's all a time of ibadah and all a time of worship. So this is just an overview before we go over each step over here. Hajj has various steps, as we know, some of which are farad, some are wajib, some are sunnah, and some are mubah or mustahab, you can say, obligatory or recommended. So, of course, getting into the state of ihram for Hajj is mandatory. Wuquf in Mina on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, this is a sunnah, but most people practice upon this sunnah. Wuquf of Arafah is a necessity. That is an obligation to be in Arafah at least for a certain amount of time. Wuquf and then Muzdalifah is a wajib part as well. And then going back to Mina again on the 10th is a sunnah as well. And then when you make the pelting, the first pelting on the 10th of the big pillar, the jamarat, just the big one, jamarat, the kubra, then that is wajib. That is a necessity to do so as well. Then the nahar, or the slaughtering of the animal for Hajj, that is also a wajib. That is something, again, that your group organizes. And then the halaq, or the trimming of the hair, after that is done, that is also a necessity. And then you would go back to Makkah for the tawaf ziyarah, and then you do another sa'i, so it's kind of like doing another umrah, I guess you can say, but you do it for Hajj. That is also a necessity and necessary part. Then you go back to Mina again, and you spend the next at least 2 days, and some people spend the next 3 days, depending on what your package will be. And each of those days, you will make the rami, or the pelting of all 3 pillars. So on the 10th, just the 1 pillar, and then the other days, you would do all 3 pillars as well. And then tawaf al-wida' at the end, when you leave Mina and you go back to Makkah, that is also a wajib or a mandatory. We'll go over each one individually. So coming into the state of ihram for Hajj, one should come into the state of ihram by the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, usually in the morning time. Either after Fajr, usually that's when people get into the state of ihram for the Hajj. And what's different between getting into the state of ihram for Hajj versus Umrah is that for Umrah, you have to get into the state of ihram outside the miqat. Many people go from Medina to Makkah, and they get into the state of ihram outside the miqat of Medina. That's when you will get into the state. And then most people perform what we call Hajj Tamattu. There's 3 different types of Hajj. One is Ifrad, which is mostly done by the locals. One is Hajj Qiran, in which there's 1 ihram for Umrah and Hajj. But most people who go from the West, they perform what we call Hajj Tamattu. Tamattu is when you are doing 1 Umrah separately, you get into the state of Ihram, you perform Umrah, and then you get out of the state of Ihram, and then you're in Makkah, and then what you do is you get into the state of Ihram a second time once again for Hajj, right? And then that's when you move forward with your Hajj. So Hajj Tamattu is by far the most common type of Hajj which is performed by those from the West. And most of you are probably performing that Hajj as it is, so that's the one that we go over. So it's preferable to come into the state of Ihram in Masjid al-Haram. However, it is permissible to do so from one's hotel also. So whether in your hotel or you go to the masjid with the Ihram clothing on for men, women of course have the regular clothing that they wear, but for men, the 2 sheets, what you can do is you can wear the sheets of Ihram, you can go to Masjid al-Haram, and then you can make the intention, make the niyyah for Hajj at Masjid al-Haram. If it's difficult to go because of the crowd, then you can do it from your hotel in Makkah as well. That is fine to do so. Make the intention of Hajj with the talbiyah. You make the niyyah, oh Allah, I intend to perform Hajj, make it easy for me, accept from me, whatever you say in that, and then make the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Once you make that talbiyah, then you are in the state of ihram for Hajj at that moment. And from that moment, just like Umrah, you would have to abide by the rules of ihram in terms of staying away from that which is prohibited in that state from that time onwards until you are able to get out of that state. And in Hajj Tamattu, there is no Tawaf Qudum. Tawaf Qudum is only done for Qiran Hajj. So Hajj Tamattu, you'll just make your intention, and then you'll basically, when the time comes for your group, you will proceed to Mina, then on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. Fajr Salah will be done in Makkah, and then it's sunnah to leave Makkah between sunrise and before Dhuhr. So you get to Mina before Dhuhr time. And there's basically 5 salahs that you spend time for in Mina in the ongoing. Dhuhr Salah on the 8th, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and then Fajr the next day. These 5 salahs you will just spend in Mina. And there's really nothing you do on that day. You just go to your tent in Mina, you stay there, and it's just, your own time, self-reflection. Just, use that moment to think and ponder and, make dua, read Quran, recite Quran, and, just make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, give me the strength, give me the ability to do this, and, give me good health, and so on and so forth. Just use your time wisely, but get some rest as well, because you're going to need the energy in the coming days to perform the tawaf and to perform the rami and all that. So it's a good day just to get some rest and, just to do your own personal ibadah and your personal worship as well. And usually the groups will have some other programming. You'll have mashayikh and those who are leading the groups. They will conduct halaqat and lectures and so on and so forth. So, you can inshallah partake in those lectures, and you'll be able to also, benefit from that as well. So as you see, you have Makkah, and then Makkah to Mina, Mina to Muzdalifah, and Muzdalifah, or Mina to Arafah, actually, you will go. So Arafah is further out from Muzdalifah, and then from Arafah, you will go back to Muzdalifah and then back to Mina. So this is what the step is over here. And they have these signs over there where you can see the boundaries. Mina starts here, for example. So you'll know when you are within the boundary, then you'll see Arafah. Arafah starts here. Muzdalifah starts here. Muzdalifah, then on the other side of the sign, it will say Muzdalifah ends here, or Arafah ends here. So you know where the boundaries are, and you know exactly where you are in the location that you're standing. Mina, of course, is filled with all of these tents. And what's amazing about this place, when you go for the ziyarah and the visitation, other times of the year, when you go for Umrah, it's just a ghost town. It's dead. No one is there at all. It's completely dead, completely empty. It's just silent. It's just the desert. Only in the days of Hajj is it completely full, and it becomes, something absolutely amazing. So, subhanallah, it's used in those particular times. And this is just a aerial concept of many of the tents that are around. It's just all white, all along with all the. And you can just see the vast nature of Mina itself and how large it is, the valley of Mina. Okay, some rulings with regards to being, now there's difference of opinion here when it comes to the aspect of qasr salah and jama' bain as-salatayn, right? But first and foremost, from the Hanafi perspective, if one intends to stay at Mecca for 15 days, which obviously I don't think most people will stay that long at one time, because you go to Medina and you kind of go back and forth as well. Only if somebody's in one location for 15 plus days, that they perform their salah in full, if they are doing it on their own. Obviously, if you're doing it in congregation with the imam over there, then you follow what the imam does. If you're doing it on your own, or if you're doing it with the jama'ah, a group that is also in the same status as a traveler, then you would shorten your salah as a musafir. Right? One should spend their day and night in worship, recite the Quran, engage in dhikr, perform nawafil, make dua, and so on and so forth. After the Fajr Salah, on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, so now you're in Mina, you've spent Dhuhr, Asr, right? Maghrib, Isha, you've spent these salahs over there in your tent. Now it's the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, it's the morning of, it's Fajr Salah, you've prayed your Fajr Salah. And this is something which is not only for the Hujjaj, but it's those for outside as well, that you recite the Takbir at-Tashriq after every Farad Salah, from Fajr of the 9th to the Asr of the 13th of Dhul Hijjah. You recite Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. After every Farad Salah, we recite it once. This is an obligation, whether it's men or women, we recite it, and this will begin on that day, right? So this is what we do. This is the takbir that's recited after every Farad Salah. One should perform Fajr at Mina, and then you set out towards Arafah. And this is typically what the groups will do, that they will set out towards Arafah in the morning time on that day. And then they set off to Arafah on the 9th, and this is where they perform the wuquf in Arafah from midday till about sunset. So there'll be some arrangement for you over there in Arafah. There'll usually be like a tent or something like that for your group. You'll be able to stay there and stay shaded from the heat and everything like that. And you just use that time to make dua, istighfar, right? You stay within the boundaries of Arafah during this period. Remember, Arafah is basically Hajj. The Prophet said, Al-Hajju ul-Arafah. He basically said that Hajj is Arafah. This is like the most important thing during the Hajj. If somebody misses the step, then their Hajj will not be considered valid in any way whatsoever. and they have the signs that are mentioned over there as well. If one is performing salah with one's own group or individually, the Dhuhr and Asr should be performed in their respective times. There's ikhtilaf here. The Hanafi perspective, what Jama'a Bayna Salatayn means in the Hanafi school of thought is that you pray one salah at the end of its time and one at the beginning of its time. But other schools of thought mention that Jama'a Bayna Salatayn means that you can pray two, for example, you can pray Dhuhr Asr in Dhuhr time, for example. So my advice to each and every one of you is just follow your group and follow your group leader, follow the sheikh of your group, and just follow what the group is doing, inshallah. That will be the easiest thing that you can do. However, if one is near to Masjid Namira on that day, which is the masjid in Arafah itself, one can perform the salah behind the imam, and one should do so. In that case, Dhuhr and Asr will be combined, even according to the Hanafi school of thought. If you're praying with the imam of Masjid Namira, then you will pray Dhuhr and you will pray Asr with the imam as well. So that is even in the Hanafi school as well. But most people will not go there because, you know, it is in a particular area. You'll have to walk there, and with the crowds and everything, it's usually difficult, and you get lost over there. It's not easy to navigate your way around. So just follow your group, do what they do, and stick with your jama'ah and your congregation over there, inshallah. One should remain engaged in dhikr and dua in the plains of Arafah. And the talbiyah should also be read time to time while doing so. Now you see many people flocking towards Jabal Rahmah, the Mount of Mercy in Arafah, right? This is the mountain that's over there where you see that pillar on top. And many people say that this is the area where, you know, some people mention that Adam alayhi salatu wasalam descended over there. You know, there's so many different opinions about that. I hear that I have a really close friend from Sri Lanka who always says that, no, he descended down in Sri Lanka. You know, there's a mountain over there that they claim they have like the footprint of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, which they say is like 5 foot 10 inches in length, the footprint, right? Which we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him extremely, extremely tall. But Allahu A'lam, Allah knows where he was descended and where he came down. But, you know, close to the area as well, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the valley of Urayna, he gave the last khutbah, the final sermon as well in that particular region also. But anyhow, it's not necessary to go to the mountain and to flock there. You can be anywhere as long as you're in the boundaries of Arafah, in your tent or whatever, and you can be making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what's beautiful about, and this is just you know, you see all the white over there, it's just people, you know, who are, mashallah, covering the mountain and who are engaging in dua. And what's beautiful about Arafah is that this is probably the most reminiscent situation in this world that reminds us of the Day of Judgment, if you think about it. You're standing on the hot plains of the desert where it's like 100 degrees. It's extremely hot. The men are wearing their kafan, you know, basically. You're wearing your ihram clothing, and that's the same thing that you're buried in, right? You're buried in your kafan. They're the white sheets. And you're literally crying to Allah. You're begging to Allah. You're standing in a situation realizing that, who am I? I'm nothing. You're humbling yourself before the Lord Almighty, before the Creator himself. And you're begging him for forgiveness, and you're asking him for forgiveness. On the Day of Judgment, every person will be standing for themselves, and they'll be worried about themselves, and they'll be saying, oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, forgive me for anything that I have done. Right? It's the scene which is the most reminiscent to the Day of Judgment that you can get to in this world. So that's what we think about. When you're standing on that plane, think about the Day of Judgment. Think about the situation that you will be in on that day. And ask Allah for mercy. Ask Allah for forgiveness. Have your list of du'as ready so you don't forget anything. Make dua for yourselves, your families, for the ummah. Make dua for everything that you can think of, right? And as a haji, as one who has sacrificed their wealth for the sake of Allah, how can Allah turn such a person down, right? So make special du'as on that day and don't waste any time whatsoever. So it's wajib to stay in Arafah until sunset. It's not permissible to depart from Arafah before sunset, and that's what your group will do. After sunset, then you will leave and you will depart from Muzdalifah. And what's unique about this situation is that you will not pray your Maghrib Salah. We're so used to praying our Maghrib Salah on time, obviously, but in this case, as the Haji, you leave Arafah after sunset without praying your Maghrib. You don't pray your Maghrib there. Maghrib and Isha are only prayed at Muzdalifah once you reach Muzdalifah, right? It will be performed with Isha in Isha time. So you will miss the prayer during Maghrib time. When you reach Muzdalifah, you will pray Maghrib and Isha together in Muzdalifah, inshallah. And again, a sign, Muzdalifah starts here. So Maghrib and Isha will be performed in the following manner. There will be one adhan and one iqama, followed by the farad salah of Maghrib, and then straight after the farad of Isha. Right? Do not perform the sunnah of Maghrib in between. The sunnah of Maghrib, Isha, and the witr salah can be performed after the Isha prayer in order. So just follow again what your group is doing and what the Imam is doing, and inshallah, you'll be okay with that. It's a very blurry picture here, but Muzdalifah is a unique place because really they're I don't know about now, but when we had gone for Hajj many years ago, it's like you think of it as like the world's largest camp out. Right? There aren't really tents over there. You just get there at night and you basically just stay there overnight. So they'll put down like some very nice rugs. Maybe they'll put down some of those like bed couches or whatever just for the night, and you just kind of make yourself comfortable, again, engage in dhikr, engage in dua, and so on and so forth. That's one of the things to do there. But the other thing to do there as well, as we can see, this is the place where it is recommended to collect one's pebbles for the pelting of the jamarat, right, at the jamarat. And it's permissible to collect pebbles from anywhere within the haram, but many people do it in Muzdalifah. And this is another miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that imagine every year, how many millions of people are picking up 70 pebbles or 49 pebbles? And if you think about that number, there's 4 million people doing Hajj, and each person is picking up 49 pebbles or 70 pebbles. You'd think that, the place is going to run dry of pebbles. But every year, subhanAllah, there's pebbles there for everybody. It's a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how they come, how they appear. Only Allah knows. This is from one of his miracles. So in your group, many groups nowadays, what they do is they'll give you like a pouch or something like that. In case they don't give you a pouch or you don't have something, maybe take a Ziploc bag with you or take some type of sack with you, like a drawstring bag or anything like that, and collect enough pebbles, inshallah, that you will need. Again, on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you'll only be pelting the large jamarat, the large pillar, which you'll only need 7 pebbles for that. And then the remaining days, if you're only there the 11th and 12th, you'll need 21 for each day. But if you're also there for the 13th of Dhul Hijjah, depending on your package, you'll need another 21 pebbles for that day. So if you're going to leave Mina after the 12th, then you'll need 49 pebbles in total. If you're going to stay there for the 13th as well, you'll need a total of 70 pebbles. And if I were you, just pick up a few extra as well, just in case something drops, or maybe if you throw it and you end up hitting somebody instead of hitting the but be careful, don't try to hit anyone. The thing is very large inside, so hopefully you won't miss it. Sometimes it's so funny. You see these crazy videos of people who have so much, like they have all this like shauq and desire, and when they think that it's really the shaitan that they're pelting. Like that pillar is the shaitan. So you have some guys who are like winding up, and some guy who's acting like he has like an AK-47, and these funny videos that you see online. But you have to remember that that's not the shaitan itself. It just resembles the place where shaitan made his appearance to try to tempt Ibrahim والسلام, to stop the slaughtering of Ismail والسلام, right? So that's basically what it is. We'll talk about that, inshallah. Okay. Even if one performs Maghrib and Isha Salah individually, he will combine them and perform the Sunnah and Witr after the Isha prayer. This is even according to the Hanafi school of thought as well. It is Sunnah to spend the night in Muzdalifah, and most people will end up doing that when it comes to the group. Fajr, when Fajr time comes in, it should be performed in the beginning of its time. Again, follow your group in this regard. It is wajib to perform wuquf of Muzdalifah, meaning to stay in Muzdalifah for a short amount of time between Fajr and sunrise. Once your Fajr Salah is over, just remain there for a while, maybe do some dhikr or whatever it may be, do the adhkar after Fajr Salah, and then you will start proceeding towards Mina after that once again. Okay, the 10th is and then now you're on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. This is a very, very important day. There's a lot is done on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, right? So the first thing that one will do is they will go to the Jamarat and they will pelt the large pillar. They will do that with 7 stones, right? So you will, every time you take one stone, Allahu Akbar, you pelt it. Allahu Akbar. Don't throw all 7 at one time, do one at a time, inshallah, right? So that's, the Rami will be done. And then the Nahr, the sacrifice is also done, the animal sacrifice. The halaq or the qasr, the shaving or the trimming of the hair is also done. And then tawaf al-ziyarah is also done as well. The pelting is performed on all 3 days, the 10th, 11th, 12th, and if you're there on the 13th, it's also performed on the 13th. The trimming of the hair and the tawaf ziyarah, they must be performed within the 3 days of the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Most people will get it done on the 10th, so that way they are able to get out of the state of ihram. Otherwise, you're not able to get out of the state of ihram by then. So most people will get it done on the 10th itself. Now, there are 3 things that have to be performed in sequence. The pelting has to be done first. Then after the pelting, the slaughtering of the animal, the nahar, and then the halaq or the qasr or the shaving, they have to be, so you can't switch those 3 around. Those 3 themselves have to be done in order. So that has to be remembered as well. So what typically people do is that they go to Mina after Muzdalifah, they'll go to the Jamarat, they'll do the pelting. And then after that, what they will do is they will wait for some time, and then they will wait for word from their group that, okay, your animal has been slaughtered now it's safe for you to get your hair trimmed, right? Then that's when you will get the head trimmed. And again, as Sheikh Hamzah mentioned in the Umrah aspect, if one totally shaves the head, then that is superior to trimming the hair, right? Even though if one trims it, is permissible as well. And for women, of course, the ruling is different, where they just cut, a small portion of their hair as well. So these are the 3 things that have to be done. Once you are done with that, once your head is shaved or cut, then you are able to officially get out of the state of ihram after that particular moment. And then that's when usually later in the day or whatnot, then people will proceed towards Makkah. And then that's when they will do the tawaf ziyarah, and then they will do the sa'i for Hajj as well, and then they will return back to Makkah. But if you have done the pelting, if you've done the rami, if you've done the pelting, and you haven't received word of the slaughtering of the animal for quite a while or whatnot, it is permissible to go to Makkah to get the tawaf ziyarah done, to get the sa'i done, and then come back and then get the animal slaughtered or hear about that. Then you can shave the head after that. You can do that as well. However, for that person, they would have to remain in the state of ihram while doing the tawaf and doing the sa'i. But for those who get it done beforehand, then they can do that tawaf and the sa'i out of the state of ihram. You can change into your regular clothing by then, and then you can do it in the regular clothing by that time. So Mina has 3 tall pillars known as the Jamarat, and they're Jamarat al-Aqaba or Kubra, the big pillar, which is the one that has to be done on the 10th. Then you have Jamarat al-Wusta, the middle pillar, and then as-Sughra, the small pillar. So as I said, these pillars are not Shaitan himself, and Shaitan is not trapped in these pillars. Rather, they mark the places where Ibrahim ﷺ was tested by the whispers of Shaitan on his way to the plain to slaughter Ismail ﷺ, as was the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, sister.
So we can, after shaving the hair and getting the 3 steps that we can get out of the ground and then go out of the next year.
Correct, yes.
Without
Correct, yes.
So the tawaf is going to be not in the Iraq.
Yes, so if your animal is slaughtered beforehand and then you get the head shaved beforehand, then you can get out of the state of ihram there in Mina, and then you can proceed to Makkah to do the tawaf ziyarah and the sa'i without your ihram clothing, like just in the regular clothing. Correct. So that's a different thing, unique thing for Hajj versus Umrah. Yes.
So I don't know, like all the webinars that I attended, they kind of reminded us again and again and again that as far as the Nahar is concerned, a lot of the times we will not find out for, so don't even worry about it. Just go and
So my suggestion again to this, as I always say, is that whatever group you're in and the group leader, follow the group leader and follow the group. Yeah, that's always the best thing. Alhamdulillah, the blessing is that whatever group you're in, you'll have individuals who are around you who are in that same group. Just follow what everyone's doing, inshallah, and that will probably be the smoothest thing. So, if anyone does their own individual thing and they go off track and they get lost, then that will be very difficult. So just follow what the Jama'ah is doing, inshallah, and you'll be safe.
And then I can ask that. I just have a quick question about the Fidan and the Tamattu, but we can ask that later.
Okay, inshallah. All right, so the Jamarat Bridge, a long time ago, they didn't used to have this structure that they built, right? It used to be just one level. Yes. Yes, you're talking about the Tawaf Ziyarah. Yes, correct. You can. Correct. Yeah, so they, a long time ago, they didn't used to have this structure, but of course, all those incidents where there used to be stampedes and other things where many people lost their lives, alhamdulillah, they built this multi-level structure where it's now become a lot safer and easier to disperse the crowd and spread the crowd out. And it's become a lot easier for people now to do the stoning, alhamdulillah. So you can see how large the space is over here. So you don't have to hit the pillar with your stone. You don't have to be practicing and working on your accuracy like a baseball pitcher or a cricket pitcher or anything like that. As long as you get it inside this whole big oval shaped thing, you'll be okay, inshallah. So, you should be fine. Okay, Rabi, the pelting is wajib, right? So this is a mandatory part, and you will do this with your group, inshallah. Men and women both must pelt the pillars. It is sunnah to say Allahu Akbar with every throw. And the recitation of the talbiyah will end upon the first throw. So on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, when you're going for the stoning of the Jamara Kubra, so what will happen is that up till this point, periodically you could say labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, the talbiyah. But once you start doing the pelting, then no more talbiyah after that particular moment. And as I said, as long as the pebbles land within the enclosure, regardless of whether they hit the pillar or not, it counts as a valid throw. And do not stop to make dua at the big pillar after pelting. Just keep moving and keep going. It's sunnah to pelt with the right hand because, of course, we use the right hand for good actions and actions which are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one should throw the pebbles one at a time and not all at once. On the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, as we said before, only the Jamara al-Aqaba or the Kubra will be pelted. So you only need 7 pebbles on that particular day. What are the timings of it? Before sunrise, it is makruh to do so. Between sunrise and midday, it is sunnah at that time to do so. But this is a time where a lot of people will be going, the crowds will be going, and depending on the heat as well and the weather, sometimes the groups will delay to do it later on. I know a couple of years ago, it was extremely, extremely hot at the time of Hajj. So many groups were actually delaying it until evening time to do just for safety purposes and to make sure that everyone stays healthy. So in cases like that, they will make exceptions. So just, again, follow your group leader, and just do what everyone is doing together, inshallah. Just stay together with your group as best as you can. Yes. Yes, there's multiple levels, right? Yes, correct. Yeah, so it's like a very tall pillar, I guess, that goes through every level. So you'll see it on every level, regardless of. Yes, correct. Yeah, then so sunrise to midday is the best time to do it. But if one cannot do it because of crowd or heat, it's fine to delay it midday to sunset. It's permissible. And sunset, if you go after sunset, it is disliked, but it's still accepted if one does it. And again, as I said, because of the heat and the situation, depending on that, just follow your group and see what they do. But the best thing to do is to keep safe and to keep healthy, inshallah. But it must be done by Fajr. And of course, inshallah, they'll get it done by then. Okay, we already mentioned the first point here. On the 11th, 12th, and the 13th, if one stays on the 13th, one will then pelt each pillar 7 times, beginning from the smallest. So it's the smallest, then the middle, then the large one. So the large kubra is the last one at the very end. Stop to make dua after pelting the smallest and the middle only. After you pelt the large one at the end, just keep walking and keep going for that one. And every day with your group, right? So on the 12th, on the 11th, and the 12th, whatever times they're going, just go with your group and go with the flow in terms of what they're doing. It is wajib to perform an animal sacrifice before the sunset of the 12th in the haram boundary. And again, many times it will get done on the 10th, or by latest it will get done by the 11th. But you'll hear word from your group when the animal sacrifice is done. This sacrifice is known as dam al-shukr and is wajib upon those performing Hajj Tamattu' or Hajj Qiran. And this is again arranged by your Hajj group. So of course, this is the slaughtering for the Haji who is performing the Hajj. And for those who are not performing Hajj, of course, for Eid al-Adha, they do the Udhiyah or the Qurbani, and they are the ones who do that particular slaughtering on that, for those who have the capability to do so at that particular time. One may slaughter the animal himself, which of course he will not do because they have workers already who are doing all of that. Someone else will slaughter it on their behalf. Yes.
Are you saying there's 2 Qurbani and Hajj?
No. So for the Haji, for the Hujjaj, there's only this one.
Okay.
For the one who's not doing the Hajj, then they have the udhiyah that they typically do otherwise. Correct. Okay, the trimming or the shaving of the head is a wajib part as well. A person will then be free from the restrictions of ihram, and we talked about this already, when one performs the halaq or the qasr. So again, pelting of the big jamarat, on the 10th or whatever, on the 10th, that has to be done on the 10th. But then, after that, once you hear about the slaughtering of your animal, only after that you can shave the head, and then you will be free from the restrictions of ihram. However, the prohibition of intimacy with one's spouse remains imposed until the completion of tawaf az-ziyarah. Tawaf az-ziyarah itself is a farad. This is a mandatory aspect of Hajj as well. It has to be performed between the 10th and the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. A sister who was in the back had asked this question, that can we perform it between these days, right? So yes, it can be done between those days. It is preferable to perform tawaf az-ziyarah after the halaq or the qasr. But again, as sister mentioned, that there are times where you do not hear about your animal being slaughtered, and then people go and they perform the tawaf az-ziyarah and the sa'i while still in the state of ihram because they have not heard about that particular aspect. So so it is preferable to perform tawaf az-ziyarah after the halaq or the qasr, although of course it is not mandatory. Every element of Hajj can be performed in the state of menstruation for women except for the tawaf. Again, as we said, because the tawaf itself is within the boundaries of the masjid. If a woman cannot perform tawaf az-ziyarah due to hayd, then there is no penalty for her delaying it, even if she does it after the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. So as long as she's still in Makkah, even after the 12th, she can still perform the tawaf az-ziyarah. After that, if she gets into the state of purity after that particular time. Do you have a question? Yes.
Do you mean tawaf ziyarah as tawaf al-wada?
No, tawaf al-wada is different. That's different. That's at the end. That's after, right? We'll talk about tawaf al-wada. That's a different one. Idafa, yes, tawaf al-idafa. That's another name for tawaf al-ziyarah. Yes, correct. Okay, sa'i. So after you do your tawaf al-ziyarah, then sa'i is a wajib element of Hajj, right? So the preferred time for the sa'i is after tawaf al-ziyarah. If a person performs a sa'i after tawaf az-ziyarah, he will perform ramal in the first 3 rounds. So just like umrah, for example, when you do umrah, then you do ramal for the men, if they're able to. But again, it will be very difficult because of the crowds over there. So you probably won't be able to do ramal when you're doing the brisk walk, in the first 3 rounds. This sa'i can be performed in any of the Hajj days on the condition that it follows a tawaf. So the best time to do it so that you're just in one place at one time, do it after your tawaf az-ziyarah. But of course, again, the difference between this one and the other one is that if you do hear about the slaughtering of your animal and you do your halaq in Mina, then again, you can perform both of these, the tawaf and the sa'i, with your regular clothing on versus, being in the state of ihram. So kind of think of it as doing another umrah, but you're doing it with your regular clothing basically, right? Because you do a tawaf and then you follow it with the sa'i, just like you would do an umrah. After the tawaf az-ziyarah is done, then all the rules of ihram are uplifted, meaning that, of course, you'll be out of the state of ihram, but meaning that even, for example, we talked about the aspect of intimacy with the spouse and so on and so forth, which, at that time, obviously, that itself is very difficult because of the arrangements and whatnot over there. But then it's sunnah to go and spend the night at Mina. So after that is done, you go back to Mina and you spend the days there. There are some people who just go to Mina just for the pelting, just for the jamarat, and then they go back and they spend time in Makkah or whatever. It's logistically, it's just very difficult to do that because of the traffic situation and everything. That's why the arrangements are usually made to stay within Mina itself. Whatever actions of the previous day have not been completed, one should try to complete them today. So we're talking about the things that weren't done on the 10th, they should try to do them on the 11th or the 12th. Rami of all 3 jamarat, the pillars, is wajib on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah. So the order of pelting again is smallest to largest. So on those, as long as you got those other things done on the 10th, then on the 11th and 12th, the only thing you really need to do is the pelting. Otherwise, the remainder of their time will just be spent in your tent in Mina. And again, it's a good time to just rest and to make dua, make dhikr, and so on and so forth. The time of pelting on the 11th and the 12th of Dhul Hijjah, between zawal to sunset, when the sun is at its peak up till sunset, that is the sunnah time to do so on those days. It is permissible to perform the pelting after sunset until Fajr if it is difficult to do so during the day. So again, follow your group in this regard. Rami or pelting is not permissible before Zawal or before the sun reaches its peak on the 11th and the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. So you cannot do it in the morning. You can only do it in the afternoon time or in the evening. And then when that is done, return to one's tent upon completion and then just engage in ibadah and worship. And on the 12th day, again, the procedures are similar to the 11th, right? So you perform the Rami again after Zawal, and any action remaining from the 10th must be completed before sunset of the 12th. For example, if you haven't done your Tawaf al-Ziyarah by then, make sure you go and do your Tawaf al-Ziyarah before sunset on the 12th. Make sure you do your Sa'i on the 12th if you haven't done so already beforehand for Hajj, because it has to be, that all has to be done before sunset of the 12th, unless of course there's a sister who is in Hayd and she can perform it she can perform the Tawaf at the later time. If one does not leave Mina and stays there until the break of dawn, which is the beginning time of Fajr or Subh as-Sadiq, then the pelting becomes wajib to perform on the 13th as well. So many people in their packages, after they're done with the pelting and after sunset of the 12th, then they leave and they go back to Makkah. But if one is still in Mina and they stay the night over there, which by the way is superior. If one has a package like this, you get more reward if you stay one extra night in Mina. But if you're there at the time when Fajr begins, then you have to stay there, for that day of the 13th, and you have to perform the pelting of all three, and then you'll be free to leave Mina after that particular time. So again, it's permissible to spend that extra night, and on the 13th, between Fajr and Zawal, it is permissible to do the Rami. So you can do it earlier on that day. Remember, on the 11th and 12th, it's impermissible to perform before Zawal, but on the 13th, if you do stay the extra day, you can do the pelting in the morning, it's fine, and then you can leave to go to Makkah after that. The time of pelting then ends with the sunset. So by sunset, basically, on the 13th, Mina will be empty again. People will be gone and they'll be back in Makkah by that time. So if one does not intend to stay for the additional Rami on the 13th, then leave before sunset of the 12th for Makkah. Again, follow your group and what they do and whatever your package is, and just do that, inshallah, and perform salah in the respective times wherever you may be. Back to Makkah. So this is Tawaf al-Wada, what our brother was talking about here. Tawaf al-Wada is separate from Tawaf al-Ziyarah or Tawaf al-Ifada. Tawaf al-Wada is a wajib. This is done, once you return back to Makkah, and then, that basically like the last things that you're going to do before you leave and you return home. It can be performed any time after the Tawaf al-Ziyarah. So, you can even do Tawaf al-Wada technically while you're there, but if you're going to go back to Makkah anyway, you can it's probably better to do it just when you wait. But it has to be done after Tawaf al-Ziyarah anytime. And if a woman is in her hayd and she cannot do Tawaf al-Wada, she's actually excused for performing it. However, Tawaf al-Ziyarah, that has to be done regardless. Right, so Tawaf al-Wada, she will be excused from doing that. Even after Tawaf al-Wada is done, a person can enter the masjid, perform Tawaf, Salah, and even Umrah. There are some people who have this misconception that Tawaf al-Wada is the very, very last thing that I do in Masjid al-Haram, and then I'm leaving to the airport and I'm done, I'm gone. No, you can perform Tawaf al-Wada and you can still go to the masjid, you can still perform other ibadah. It doesn't have to be the very, very last action that you do before you actually leave. Okay. Penalties, right? There's 4 types of penalties if certain mistakes are made. One is badana, which is a sacrifice of a large animal, which consists of a camel or a cow. One is the dam, or the sacrifice of the smaller animal, meaning the sheep or the goat. The third one is sadaqah, so charity, which is given to poor people in the precinct of the haram, equal to sadaqatul fitr. So just, whatever, a few dollars or a few riyals, whatever it may be. And then the fourth one is a very minor penalty, less than the amount of sadaqatul fitr, which is given to needy people, and all these proceeds are done within the haram. So when is this done? Badana penalty will be binding by the following, which is the large animal. Number one, either if one has relation with the spouse after wukuf in Arafah, but before the halaq, then they would have to pay for this major penalty. Now, this is the other one here. If a woman is in the state of hayd, and if she's delayed the time of Tawaf al-Ziyarah until the point now where she has to leave and she has to go back to her home country and she has no choice logistically because of that, now she must go and perform that Tawaf al-Ziyarah. And because of the fact that she did so in the state of impurity, then she would have to pay for the badana or the large penalty. Now, again, for Umrah, it's different. For Umrah, it's the dam penalty. If a woman has to perform the tawaf of the Umrah in that state, it's the dam penalty. But the tawaf is ziyarah for Hajj, it's the large penalty. So you have to go to those places where you can give the amount, what it would cost to slaughter a camel or a cow. And then what they do is they slaughter these animals and then they distribute this meat to the needy people within the haram boundaries, and then that will take care of your penalty if it necessitates that. Dam penalty, the slaughtering of a small animal. These are the following mistakes or errors that will result in paying this penalty. Being intimate with one's spouse outside of those times that's mentioned over there that we had talked about in the beginning. A male wearing normal clothing for an entire day or an entire night, meaning when they're supposed to be in the state of ihram. Likewise, a half day or a half night, which adds up to 1 day, will result in dam. And that's, of course, probably impossible for that really to happen. Shaving 1/4 or more of the hair on the head or beard while in the state of ihram. Of course, again, that's something very difficult to really happen again. For a male or a female to cover the face for an entire day, right? That's another thing. Perform and applying perfume to an entire limb or one's clothing as well. That is something, again, that will result in this type of penalty. Clipping all the nails of one hand or 1 foot, and omitting tawaf al-wada. Again, a woman is excused if she's in her menstruation. She does not have to give the dam, but otherwise, if the tawaf al-wada is omitted, then a dam penalty would have to be paid in order to compensate for that. Or to omit any wajib portion of Hajj, which we had, again, I'm going to give you guys this PDF. If you go back to that initial thing that we saw with the overview of Hajj, you can see what's wajib over there. Anything which is omitted from that, a dam penalty would result. But again, if you follow your group and you stay with your group, inshallah, you'll be safe, and they'll make sure that none of these things are omitted, inshallah. The following results in sadaqah. So if anyone shaved or cut or trimmed less than 1/4 of the head, or plucking or trimming or cutting 3 or more hair strands, clipping 1 or 2 nails, applying perfume to a little portion of the body, for a male to wear normal clothing for a couple of hours, or males or females to cover the face for a couple of hours, or a male to cover his head for a couple of hours, performing tawaf without wudu, leaving 1 pebble out from Rami. All these things would result in sadaqah. Again, sadaqah is just the amount of sadaqatul fitr. So over there, I don't know what the amount would be. Like locally here, for example, you would say $10. So whatever $10 is in riyals or whatever, or even $10, you would just give that. And my suggestion always is that regardless of if you think you made a mistake or you didn't make a mistake, give charity regardless to the people. And I always say the best people to give charity to are the workers of the Haramain, the cleaners of the Haramain. These are people who come from outside countries. They have left their families and they're doing this work for the sake of Allah. They're getting paid very little. And a lot of their dependency and reliance is upon the sadaqah that's given from the Hujjaj and the visitors that they give. And a lot of this they send back to their families overseas. So they do this type of work because, subhanAllah, what better place to be than Makkah or Medina, where you are cleaning the house of Allah, the most holiest places on earth. And they do such a wonderful job as well. And they make it so easy for us as visitors to go and to perform the ibadah that we are supposed to perform. So these are the people to give the sadaqah to, inshallah. And, regardless if you think you made an error or you didn't, just give it to them. Because inshallah, even if there's something that you feel like, something may have happened that you don't even know. So inshallah, that will cover for it, right? Make the intention for the sadaqah and inshallah, you'll be okay. Okay, the following result in giving less than the sadaqah al-fitr amount, killing, I guess when they say killing lice is because, you're probably like scratching your head and maybe some hair comes out, Allahu Anam. But killing a locust is the only animal that's mentioned here because again, it's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that locust is actually the animal which is it's not only like not harmful, but it's also the one type of like bug or whatever that it's mentioned in the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ actually even ate it. So it's actually halal, it's considered permissible to even eat locusts from a Shara'i standpoint as well. So because of the fact that it has that type of benefit or whatnot, I guess it's mentioned by that too, or to pluck 1 or 2 hairs. So inshallah, everyone will give some charity, some sadaqah, and all these things will be covered from that. And with that, your Hajj is then completed. Any time that you spend, remaining time that you spend in Makkah after Hajj is over, just make the most of it, inshallah. Get some rest. I know by then many people are just very tired and whatnot. Get the proper rest, but try to make sure that you at least pray all the salah in congregation. Because again, when you're praying salah in Makkah, remember that every congregational prayer that you pray over there, 100,000 times. Over here, when you're praying in Jama'ah in the masjid, it's 25 to 27 times. Greater than praying on your own. Over there, 100,000, as mentioned in the hadith. And in Masjid al-Nabawi, 50,000. So, just imagine these things. And then some narrations mention 1,000 as well, but Masjid al-Nabawi, but 50,000 is also mentioned. But 100,000 is the proven hadith for Masjid al-Haram. So just imagine, the great benefit that you're getting from that, inshallah. So any questions that we can end with? Yes.
So I'm still kind of a little confused on Quran, for making niyyah, and I understand that like whatever our
Right.
will tell us, that's what we will do.
Yes.
So does it have to be, or is it logistically because of the timing you are going to be doing your tawaf? Is when you write Quran or
No. So typically, Quran is tougher because you're in Makkah for a longer period of time, and you have to be in Ihram for a longer period of time. So it's something. Usually, your group. Do you guys know in your groups whether are you going to be going to Medina first? Everyone, yeah. So you'll do tamattu, 100% probably, I'm sure, because you go to Makkah first. You probably get to. You go to Medina first. Yeah, you'll go to Makkah. You'll probably do your Umrah there. And the thing is that if you do Qiran, then you're going to have to remain in Ihram from the time you basically get to the state of Ihram from when you leave Medina. You'll have to remain in that state the entire time, all the way until. So it's highly doubtful that you will do Qiran. That's why.
Probably the people who are coming and they just don't have the time.
Yes. Yes, the people who go like straight to Makkah. Correct. Yeah. So that's why the vast majority of people who come from the West, they'll do tamattu. Exactly. It's. If you're going to be an Aziziyah, then yes, you would be praying. If you're going to be praying like on your own, then you would pray Asr prayer over there. Yes, you would be shortening. And I'm guessing that unless you are praying with a Jama'ah or a group where there is an Imam, if there's an Imam who's also in Musafir with you, just follow the Imam and do Asr. Otherwise, if it's somebody who is local, then you pray with follow the Imam and do what they do. If you're praying on your own, then yes, you shorten the salah. Yes. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yes.
So for the pebble, you mentioned it's budget. So, but then my understanding is that like if you fell sick or you're elderly and cannot do it, you can give it to
somebody to do it for you. Yeah. So in a case where somebody is has extreme difficulty in going themselves and they're very sick or whatnot, you can assign someone to do it. That's in a case again where if it's absolutely necessary, then you can do it. Yes.
One is, do you recommend people to take hormonal medication? Is it a more Hajj is it a better quality life?
So I probably recommend maybe this is probably a decision that you would have to make on your own. Again, I don't know what the medical consequences are in taking those things. I've heard from other people, from like my own wife and others, my wife, but others who she's heard from that have done it, that it causes some issues medically. Right. Yeah. So it's a difficult thing. I mean, maybe first kind of calculate because a woman is obviously familiar with her cycle and what days she typically has the cycle. Just try to calculate and see, okay, these are going to be the days of Hajj potentially, and my cycle is supposed to be usually around this time. So first do that calculation and just see that, okay, am I going to be in a situation where I feel like I may have to take this, or even if there's like a slight chance where, okay, I'll have like 1 day or 2 days or whatever free, that I don't have to do it. Just, I think go with that first and then. No. Yes. Right. So I showed it on the top. Yeah. So.
Most of us have to go.
Right. Yes. Correct.
But it doesn't make your Hajj better.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because alhamdulillah, it's a natural thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, this is a natural thing. We still, yeah. But then, yeah, so that's if the tawaf is ziyarah. Again, only if the tawaf is ziyarah is missed in all the days, and even after, whatever days you're in Makkah, after Hajj is over, if you're not able to do tawaf ziyarah at all. So all the days that you are there, if one is in the Hayd in that time, and now it's time to go and you have to leave, then in that case, you go ahead and you perform that tawaf, and then the badana would have to be done.
Not for the other days. If you're clean by then it's fine.
Yes, correct.
And then I had another question.
Yes.
If a woman doesn't know if she's going to be having, her Hayd, is Hajj the Quran okay in that case because she's going to be in a state of ihram, or no?
Yeah, so that is fine. So the issue here is that
She would just do one,
right, yeah. So she made the niyyah already for Umrah, right? And then
or she did.
yeah.
Hajj, but it's together. So. Well, when you're coming from Medina, I'm assuming you come on the 7th, right? Or the 8th.
So that depends on your group. Yeah, when you yeah, so usually yes. So typically what they do is when you come from Medina, then you get to Makkah, you usually do your Umrah right away. So you get there to Makkah. You usually leave Medina like in the afternoon one day, and then you'll get there at the night. And then that same night you'll do your Umrah and you get it done with. And then then they come out of the state of Ihram. So typically they probably would not get to Makkah like right before the 8th. It will probably be at least a couple of days before. Yeah,
out of your state of ihram, the first thing is it's sunnah to be in a state of ihram in Makkah. So that's what you're talking about for your Hajj.
For the Hajj, yes. So to get back into the state of Ihram.
So it's
Yes.
sunnah to be in that.
Correct.
Not obviously the one that you have to be in a state of ihram when you're Hajj with that.
Right. Yes. So that's only for Umrah. Yeah. So for Hajj, you get back into the state of Ihram in Makkah itself. Right. Yes. Correct. Yes, sister.
And you are in your state then supposed to make
You still, so if you're leaving Medina and going to Makkah, you still have to make the intention of Ihram because you cannot cross the miqat boundary without being in the state of Ihram. So even if a sister's in the state of Hayd, at the time before you cross the miqat, you still have to make the intention for being in the state of Ihram regardless.
I don't make the intention, I wait till you go like 5 minutes, like 6 or 7, and then I start my intention and then like that's what speaking.
So now thing is Hajj Qiran has a completely different type of ruling because you have to do another tawaf in the beginning called Tawaf Qudum. And there's different rulings with that. So yeah, so my suggestion to you with this is that whoever your sheikh or your group leader is at that time, if this situation comes up, ask the group leader at the time, inshallah. I mean, this is a very rare type of situation, but I would say just consult the group leader at the time, inshallah, and they will help you and they will guide you if that situation does come up and if it does occur. Yes, inshallah. Yeah, so how about this? I think to make it easier, inshallah, what we will do is if I can have everyone just maybe email me, inshallah, what I will do, I can give everyone my email address, send me an email, inshallah, and then what I will do is I will email you back with the link of this PDF. Yes, so we do have it recorded. I think from what I think Muad is here, I think the very beginning portion in the Hajj part was cut off a little bit, right? But that was more of the physical preparation and all of that, so that should be okay. But everything from Sheikh Hamzah's portion was recorded. Okay, good, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we have the video as well. That will be on YouTube, inshallah. So we'll make sure that the YouTube link is there, and then we'll also send you the separate PDF that we have. So you can email me at Mufti, MUFTI, at islamstl.org. Mufti at islamstl.org. Send me an email, inshallah, and just put in the email that please send me the Hajj PDF or whatever, then I will know, inshallah. What I will do is I will send you the attachment file for that, and I will respond with that, inshallah. IslamSTL.org, yes. Correct.
one question. So some people say that you cannot use a toothpaste, it should be lid-free, but some people say.
Yeah, no, toothpaste, toothpaste is fine. It's fine. You're not, it's okay to use toothpaste. You're not, that's not really like a scent. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Again, if, another option in these days also, you can use miswak. Miswak is also a good thing to use, but if toothpaste is not going to break it'll be okay. Yes. You don't know where it's from.
So for tomato, I just wanted to.
Mhm.
So let's say I make an I make my talbiyah and my sunnah, which is going to have. I go into Makkah, I do my umrah.
Yes.
When I make my niyyah for miqat, I make it for both.
No. You only make it, no, only Umrah. Only Umrah. Yeah. So you do your Umrah, you get your Umrah done, then you get out of the state of Ihram. And then you will, yes, and then when the time comes on the 8th to go to Mina, then you will get into the state of Ihram. Yeah. So you'll make a separate intention just for Hajj at that time.
I go to Mina of Hajj.
Correct.
And then after my Arafat and after my cutting the hair,
Right.
that's when I do my tawaf of Ifat.
Right. Yes.
And then
Yeah. So after the pelting is over,
the first pelting.
yes. After the first pelting is over, then what you will do is you need to, you wait. I guess you find out from your group about the animal being slaughtered or whatnot. If you haven't found out, you can just go to Makkah. You can do the Tawaf al-Ziyarah, you can do the Sa'i, and then you can come back. And then once you find out about the slaughtering of the animal, making sure that's done, then you can clip the hair, and then you're out of the state of Ihram after that.
Now you're completely out of it.
You're completely out of Ihram
So
after
your
that.
3 days
Yes.
after the Rami are not in a state of Ihram.
That's not in the state of Ihram. Yes. As long as you've gone out of the state of Ihram by then they're not in the state of Ihram.
And then
Yes.
the last tawaf that you do is the tawaf over them, and that is trying to do it almost close to it.
Correct. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
good.
the dam is a small sacrifice, which is either goat or.
Yes, correct.
And the big one is badana,
Which is cow or camel, yes. Yeah, so they have places if you go to the Clock Tower Mall and other places, they'll have like booths over there, and they have the amount that you have to give, and then they take care of it, your name and things like that. Oh, we have mail accept from all of you, yes.
Yeah, how often would that need the sign or?
No, Tawaf without, there's no sign. It's just Tawaf only, yes, just Tawaf only, correct. Yeah, so that's not in the state of Ihram. Tawaf without, correct.
So Umrah, if you have to just do the first time, go to Mecca, we do the Umrah, and then we just say the Mecca for some time. You do
You can do that. It's permissible to do that. Then you go to Masjid Aisha to renew your ihram. But again, my suggestion is probably not to do that. And the only reason is because you need the strength for the days of Hajj. If you do multiple Umrahs before Hajj, then you're going to be worn out by Hajj, especially with the crowd over there. My suggestion is just do your one Umrah and then, pray your Salah with the Jama'ah, do all those things, inshallah, but keep your strength for Hajj. That's very important. You need that the most, definitely. Inshallah. All right, Jazakumullah khairan, everyone. May Allah accept your journey, and please keep us in du'as as well, inshallah. And we'll send you those PDFs. Just keep us in our community and everyone in du'as as well. Barakallahu feek.